Hey there, welcome to Rules of Villainy, episode 39. Wow, I can't believe it. We've actually hit the age that I will be this year. There you go. Nice little fun fact about me. But anyway, we're live
Okay, boomer.
and
Let's go.
yes. And as always, I'm Villain Vince, joined by my two co-hosts, Villain Andy and the mayor of Lorcana himself, Brad, and our special guest as always, who thankfully filled in for me last week, villainous Kirsten. How is it going tonight? Y'all
Good.
surviving the flash floods that we're getting here?
There's so much water out there. I can see River to Pear from my apartment, and I'm like, oh, it's loaded.
You guys said flash floods
Yeah.
warning, right? We got the warning. It came. It's here already. We're under the water.
Oh gosh.
At this point, we're like a subaquatic dwelling at this point.
You're
Are you
floating away.
Are you driving it with an Xbox controller?
Yeah, Buster goes
Ooh,
outside.
That's a deep, deep cut.
Buster will
probably
walk
what I shouldn't be
outside
making,
in the
honestly.
rain for about half a second, immediately turn his big butt around and come right back in. He's like, nope,
How my
I don't
dog
want
is.
it. Yeah.
He
3
gets so
times in a
excited to go
row.
out, and then when he sees that the water's coming down, he's like, nah, I'm good.
He literally steps far enough outside that his face gets wet, and he's like, no,
Yeah,
and dipped out.
don't like
He's
that.
I'm going back in. Never
That's
mind.
okay.
And then proceeds to lose his ever-loving mind all day because he hates the thunder.
That's
Yeah.
so
It's
funny.
been so fun. It's been so fun.
That's so funny.
Here's-
My cat is Cassian he's like a true Midwesterner. Like whenever it's a thunderstorm, he doesn't get scared. He hops on the
Comes out on the
windowsill
balcony.
and he's like, hey, I want to know what's going. Where's the tornado? It's right
Yeah.
there, man.
Yep.
Dad. It's like get down from the window.
It didn't occur to me until just now because Kirsten's audio is so good, and I just looked at her screen and saw she's got a new microphone. It's not the headset anymore.
Yeah, Andy
Yeah.
put something together for me. It's his
Awesome.
old stuff, so nothing new and fancy. but
Yeah.
It's new to
Yeah.
hopefully it
you.
works out. What?
But hey,
new
I'm
to
just
you.
saying.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just
Oh, yeah.
saying, if you want to support the podcast
Here we go.
and you haven't yet subscribed to our non-existent Patreon, you can always buy new cards. Because I tell you what, buying in Lorcana is, I think, probably a better bet than betting in the stock market these days.
Don't want to touch that one. That's
So
lots
you can
of
go to TCG it's tcgplayer.com.
Partner
Close.
partner.tcgplayer.com
There we
We'll get it
go.
right.
/ROV.
I'll get it one day.
Yeah.
I'll get it one day.
Link
Yeah.
in the chat.
if only
Yeah.
you could memorize it like you do the intro. And it's just one line.
I know. But really, honestly, the worst part is I use it and I have to go back to our videos to find the link to click on it. And I'm
Yeah.
like, wait, what is it again? What is it?
Goodness.
But no, really, it costs you nothing and it helps support the channel. We really thank you. But we're here because we have the Lorcana Bracket Madness. Our
Finally.
I know. Well, it's my fault, y'all. It's really
No, it's
my
not.
fault.
It's
Are we
the whole
surprised?
thing.
No. Let's be honest. Let's let the viewers understand how this actually went down. So I had this
Sure.
idea, like at the end of February. I was like, "Hey, we should absolutely do this." And Brad's first thing was like, "Are you sure you're gonna be able to do that?" Like his first, like literally without like hearing the idea, he was like, that's a lot of work. And I was like, no, I got it, man. It's totally, I got it. On me, definitely me. I got it.
It was, and there were times where we got the steam rolling on, like, okay, let's do this. March Madness is about to happen, and then it just kind of faded into something else happening in the Lorcana world or something else we wanted to talk about. And it's like, oh, what happened was we had a perfect window before Arcasia's Island came out. So this was originally going to be just sets 1 through 6. And then Arcasia's Island came out. We had all of our rankings and everything ready for the cards. And they were like, can we do this now without the new cards being in it? So then we had to just start from scratch and do it all over again. But yeah, we got them. We got each of us ranked 32 cards from all 7 sets of Disney Lorcana, and then Vince put them in a compiler based on where we put them in our list, and now we have a top 16 or top 32 in 2 different brackets that we're gonna crown a winner for. So it's really, really cool. And it actually, I kind of like the timing of it too, because this is the Final Four weekend, right? So March Madness is wrapping up, and we're doing our thing before it all transpires. So really, really excited to do it.
Listen, if I were to do this again, I think I said this. What I would have done instead is said that what we should have done is done like a draft style where all of us picked 8 cards in uniquely, and then we could have them all in their own little like zone of brackets, and then they go up into the final 2. And that would have been like, I think, like the better way to do this.
Well, maybe not.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think I'll be honest with you. Let me just say, ChatGPT was a great help in compiling the results of all 4 of them. And it took a while for me to like get ChatGPT to understand what the hell I was doing. I was running out of tokens.
I don't even know. Are we certain that we ranked these appropriately through that program?
No.
We absolutely are. So
No,
Oh, not even
Vince-
for the program. I mean, just in general, no.
Yeah,
Vince
like my
didn't-
rankings were. I wanted to screw everything up and throw Mufasa at the top of the list just to get him on there, because I know none of you guys put him on your
I
top
think
32.
you should put Pete number 1.
That was in the last one
That's not bad.
before.
Oh, yeah,
That's
she-
not- yeah, that was
her
before the new one,
before
yeah.
she fixed it. But yeah,
Well,
we also
Pete-
kind of just like had to shoehorn a couple of these
Yeah.
set 7 cards. We had to like
I mean, here's the thing. Pete did originally make it. So did Hood, Robin Hood. But you know, I mean, the Lorcana Villain Committee, who's running the tournament, had to
Pete's
make
still in
some
there.
executive decisions about
still in
some
there.
incoming cards. And it was a tough decision. And I fully support the committee's decision here.
Of course.
Before we get into that, I do want to say a couple things if I can have the floor, please.
Yep, please.
I don't have a way to make you full screen, Brad.
No, that's okay. I don't want
You
full
want me to make
screen.
you full
I
screen?
really don't. No, I wanted to take a few minutes here. The first one being, I want to give a shout out to John, Jimmy, and Ryan. We did. Some people locally even didn't realize that was an April Fool's Day joke. Like, we had
wait. That was an April Fool's Day joke? Or that's
Wait,
not our
what happened?
spin-off
Did I
podcast?
miss something?
I thought that was just an
no,
illustration
we,
were doing.
Thank you, Vince, for that. You missed the whole conversation last night. So Jimmy had this idea a while back when he was just giving us grief, one of our teammates, and he said that, you know what, I'm going to start my own podcast and call it The Laws of Heroism, just a riff on our name. Made his own dragon. Instead of having Ruby the Amethyst Dragon, he had Amethyst the Ruby Dragon. And then ultimately what happened was, it's like, that's a really fun idea. Oh, April Fool's Day is coming up. How do you guys feel about just recording a whole episode for us? You know, like it's a real thing. And then the kicker of it was, I thought they did a great job for their first time doing it. Just, you know, three chums talking about Lorcana. I mean, who does that? Us.
I mean,
Yeah.
very
Or four of us,
crazy
here. But then after that, like, everybody loved it too. Like, they were getting so much good feedback that it was tracking better than our episode for the week before, right? So like, they had a great time. It did really well, and who knows if we'll do it again. I think it's certainly possible, right? But I want to give them a shout out because they did a fantastic job for something they'd never done before, and
They
kudos to them.
They did. It was
was
a lot. It was really fun to see them all enjoy themselves and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, here's the kicker about it. Give them credit because they did their first one on video. We did not.
We did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
On
did not.
video,
So,
Yes.
They had very minimal editing that needed to be done. There was one spot where I think one of their internet hiccuped, so I had to they once they came back, they just took it back from the beginning of that segment. So
Yeah.
I did that cut, and I added the intro and outro, and I didn't even watch it before release, and I wanted the surprise with everyone else on April 1st. I wanted to watch it live with everyone else. So they
And
did a great
they
job.
got us with
really.
their outro too.
Yeah.
Did you hear their zinger, the outro?
Yeah.
be wary of those dastardly villains who want to bore you with 2-hour podcasts or something like that.
Yeah.
Funny.
Brilliant writing. Whoever thought of that, kudos to you. That was
It was
great.
great.
Because
Well-
we try to keep it under that. And so far, we're not doing a good job with this one by
Here-
ranting here.
Here's the thing, though: we have such riveting content, and I'm
Riveting.
sorry. I'm sorry that the heroes are, the heroes are a little boring. Like in Disney, they always seem to win and stuff. It's not as fun as like
Get outta
rooting
here,
for the
Prince Charming.
underdog. Yeah, like come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see Ursula steal that voice.
Yeah. With a Hexwell crown. Sheesh.
So I was just looking here and I saw that Andy preemptively decided that he was already going to pre-vote for one of the brackets here.
Oh,
With,
I did.
It
I
might have been
did
testing.
Yeah, yeah.
accidentally.
Yeah.
I was an
I was like,
example.
oh, rigging the system here.
It was an example of how we would move to the next. When one of them wins, I may also be subliminally, influencing everyone to vote for the greatest card in the game of Lorcana. But that will be up to you guys. And actually, if you not only will you be able to vote, but we also threw together like a fun little prediction thing. So there's a link in the description. It's through WooBox. It's like I think one of those like all-in-one like web tools as a service thing. I could have ran all kinds of fancy stuff, but they had a bracket to run predictions, so you can choose who you think's going to win all of these matchups all the way down to the winner, and at the end we'll be able to see who has the highest score, and you'll get some bragging rights, and when we see you, we'll give you extra stickers.
Yep. And it should be very much known, because I asked this when I realized when I tested through this myself. It asks for your first name, last name, and email, but you don't. I don't think you have to put any like your actual information in that to see the bracket.
Bragging rights, you have to put some information in. So like if you just put your name down, that's what I'm gonna say is the person who wins. So for me, I just put Andy, and then I didn't put in the last name.
Your name.
And I put in a bogus email address. Lorcana at fakeemail.com. It doesn't matter. So there's no need for that, but they make me have it in there for some reason. But it's just a fun little thing everyone can do. Emily in the chat put all of her info in. Please don't steal it. Too late, Emily.
We don't control that site. I don't know. I've never been on there before. I just wanted to make everybody aware that you don't have to put in all that information.
Yeah,
so.
You don't have to put any of that information. It's, I guess the idea is so that I can then contact or pick a winner. But like I said, it's just for bragging rights, and I believe probably because I'm using the free version, I don't have the option to turn that off.
Sure.
I was able to put the pictures in, but as you'll see, they're kind of squooshed a little. So, again, free version, squooshed pictures. But we're all just here to have fun. We got the bracket up, and we'll be able to go through some of these matchups. So we'll have like the first matchup here, and we're going to have a YouTube poll for everyone who's watching to choose who they'd like to advance to the next round, which card they think is better. Really, the criteria is anything, We're going to discuss the matchup as we go. We'll each choose who we think should go on. YouTube will decide, and then ultimately we'll pronounce a winner of each matchup.
Yep. So what's going to happen is, he's going to put a thing on screen. I'm going to put a poll in the chat, and I think you can waver between. If he picked one, you decide you hear something you like us discussing, and the weight changes your opinion. I think you can change your vote to the other one, and then ultimately it'll be open until we close it, until we're done talking about it, and then the winner of that poll is going to be the card that moves on in the bracket toward the next round.
Yep. So should we go through the bracket?
Oh, I was doing a test poll.
You're gonna do a test poll.
We did a test poll so that everyone can test it
I
out
can't vote.
and get used to it. Why can't you vote?
I guess because we're probably on the same account.
Where's the poll?
I didn't vote.
On YouTube.
No, maybe I vote. Maybe I did vote.
It's on YouTube.
Okay, never mind.
I'm just saying, I'm like low-key offended. Just saying by this here.
I mean, who is best? Brad, 71%. You can check if you can change your vote. You know, so if you'd like to change it to Vince to make him feel better.
I'm just saying, maybe that's a sign. Maybe the next poll should be: should Kirsten replace Vince permanently?
I'm just gonna go ahead and end that poll because I like the results there.
All right.
All right, the night's a win. The night's a win. My Friday night is perfect. We don't even have to do the rest of the podcast.
All right. Thank you for joining us. If you enjoyed this podcast, be sure to like and subscribe.
You do,
Yeah,
Emily. You do.
Emily is legally obligated.
All right. So should we go through the bracket then?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Do
are you ready?
Are we running through the whole bracket, or we're just going to go straight into the first matchup?
Well, let's run through the whole bracket real quick.
All right.
And just kind of talk about how this is going. So we'll start on the left side. We'll call that the Illinois bracket. And the other one, the Missouri bracket.
Heather voted for you.
Well, she's also, I think, obligated because we are.
It's true. It's true. All right, hit him with the bracket.
All right, so we've got the Merlin Rabbit is the first seed going against the 16th seed, A Whole New World, or as A Whole New World. And then we have a Tamatoa, So Shiny in number 2 against Pete, Games Referee. Stop all actions. Should stop them now. Be prepared. You gotta do it, Brad. You gotta do the be prepared.
If it wins.
Okay.
If it
wins this round.
Sure. You're influencing everybody to vote for it.
You're right. I absolutely am. Although
here.
I think it was probably going to win anyway. And then we have Madam and Fox against Belle, Apprentice Inventor, which is a dastardly card. This people have some strong opinions about Belle. Ariel, Spectacular Singer, Daisy Duck, Dawn on State, Calhoun, Marine Sergeant, up against Ursula's Deceiver of All. And then Mr. Snee, Bumbling Meat against Beast, Tragic Hero. So that's our bracket there. And then on the other side, to make it to the finals will be Merlin Goat up against Sail the Azurite Sea, Cinderella Ballroom Sensation, up against Diablo Devoted Herald, Hiram Flaversham up against Maui Half Shark, Maui Hero to All up against Sisu, Empowered Sibling, Rapunzel, Gifted with Healing up against Popsicle. How Far I'll Go up against Tamatoa, Happy as a Clam. Madam Mim, the Boss up against Madam Mim Snake.
Madam Medusa, the boss.
Oh, Madam Medusa, the Boss. I'm sorry. Listen.
How dare you get the boss's name wrong?
I know. I might
be the mayor, but she's the boss.
My brain was at the point of just trying to be like, I'm beautiful, baby, when I was saying that.
You're not getting out of this one with your beauty, sir. Not with that beard watch.
Not without the beard watch.
We need a full screen.
Forgot to yell that at the very beginning.
So Madam Mim, the Boss, up against Madam Mim Snake, and Lucky Dime up against Lady Tremaine.
He did it again.
I know.
What?
He did it
And
again.
your internet, I think, is having trouble with the
Maybe it's your internet.
Your internet is waterlogged, Vince.
Madam Medusa, the Boss, versus Madam Mim Snake. Lucky Dime versus Lady Tremaine, Imperious Queen. I'm just saying, this isn't as easy as it looks, y'all. All right.
I'll give you a break. You've had a week or two off here. Yeah.
That's a wrap. We're done already. No, all right.
Oh,
Let's go
boy.
into the first round.
All right. So, first round, we've got Merlin Rabbit, the first seed, versus A Whole New World, the 16th seed.
I feel like
I
this is it's an unfortunate matchup because
It is.
I love both of these cards, and A Whole New World is a great song, whether you're singing it like the actual song or playing it in Lorcana. Both of them have great effects, but the fact that it's in such a great package of just bouncing and getting card after card. You'll get those 7 cards with one rabbit, like if you wanted to.
You don't have to discard
I
any
feel
in
like
the process. You don't
nothing.
give your
Don't have to-
opponent any in the process.
Yeah.
I've already buzzed in on Merlin Rabbit. You don't
Might
need
as
to.
well
Yeah.
throw
You don't
me
need to
over
ask
there,
me
please.
twice.
There's a reason why it's a 1 seed.
Yeah.
Each time we did this, the rabbit was a 1 seed, I think, right? So
No, that's right. That's right. It was always a 1 seed. Doesn't necessarily mean, there could be an
it
upset
had
here.
a little bit of contention with the genie last set, where the genie comes in with evasive. He only draws for 1, but quest for 2 has the evasive tag on it. So he, dealt with the rabbit or took its spot for a little while, right? So I don't know. It's I'm just trying to find something against the rabbit, but the rabbit's a 1 seed because it's like the Duke. Emily's gonna love that reference of the NCAA. So,
Well,
Yeah.
I just, it's
Genie's
one of
not
those
even
things
on this
where it's like
list.
you're always going to draw the card, and so getting that powerful draw engine and then being able to cycle with other bounce cards that you have in the game. It's just, I honestly, that there's a reason why this card is played in almost every Amethyst combination. Like it's almost an auto include if you're playing Amethyst.
Pikachu.
is everybody good with the conversation? Any last words on the matchup?
Nope, but I will say if you're voting,
Everyone.
I will note though that 11 people have voted in this, and only 1 person has hit the like button, which is a really bad ratio. So I'm just gonna say, if you wouldn't mind, please smash that like button to help the YouTube algorithm get this out there so more people can
Wow.
participate.
Not
Only
even
costs 3 ink.
not even that high of a percentage. Vince, you voted for A Whole New World, right? You said you said it might be like an upset. Or no,
I
you voted
didn't.
for Rabbit. Okay.
I didn't vote. Well,
what is
I
your
didn't vote either.
Everyone's got to lock in.
I
I've
can't
got
vote
it.
from the Rules of Villainy channel.
You
so.
you weren't here in the pre-show brief, Vince. I've got a little avatar of close Vince that I'm gonna move towards
yeah.
the card depending on who you vote for. So
Sure.
I'm pretty sure Brad voted for Rabbit.
I vote
You
for
don't
Rabbit.
have to vote in
I
the
voted for
YouTube poll.
Rabbit.
You
I would have
vote-
voted for Rabbit.
Okay, so and the chat is represented by Ruby. She will vote with chat, and so we've got a unanimous decision here that
Rabbit moves on.
Merlin Rabbit moves on.
I did forget to mention, if I have a quick window here, out of the entire bracket, we don't have the ink colors on there. The rundown of the ink colors for the entire bracket are 4 in amber, 6 in amethyst, 2 in emerald, 6 in ruby, 8 in sapphire, and 6 in steel. To nobody's surprise, sapphire leading the way there with 8 spots in the tournament.
Brad, you sound there sounds to be like a little animosity against Sapphire there in your voice. Am I sensing some?
Oh,
Some
I witnessed. I fell victim to it firsthand last night, and I've talked about it enough. If you were there, you would have seen it. But no, I'm just kidding. It's in both of my. It's in the video that the meta report that I'm posting tomorrow. It's just Ron just bodied me with it. Unbelievable. But yeah.
All right,
so
let's move on to
Merlin
the next
Rabbit
one.
All right, what's the next one?
What is the next one? It is Tamatoa and Pete, right? So let's find this. This is Tamatoa and Pete.
Tamatoa and
All right.
Pete going into the poll now.
So Shiny versus No Actions. An 8
No
seed versus a
action.
9 seed. These are supposed to be a close matchup here. I think it might actually be closer than one might think. Tamatoa So Shiny is just like on everyone's mind though, right? Like they're the
Shiny.
They've been so hot lately, right? Pete
I know what my vote
Pete's
is. I
been-
don't.
Pete's
you
been
need to
just
enjoy it.
stopping actions for a good two
I th-
two whole sets now.
I think on a power
That was
level, and in Lorcana in general, Pete is a staple in steel. Like anytime you're going against an action deck, anything, especially Steel Song or whatever Red Blue is right now, it stops those actions for a turn. And we saw Speci just lock down Zach Bivens the other day in one of those tournaments by continually bouncing Pete, repeat, where it didn't help that Zach bricked himself entirely into 4 Along Came Zeus's, but he couldn't play anything because of that Pete, and he just shuts down the game. So I think on a power level and playability level, Pete is always there. Tamatoa is fun, but I think Red Blue is, or I shouldn't say Red Blue. I think Sapphire Ruby. Ron won a box tournament this past weekend without that card in it. A red Sapphire Ruby
No big shiny.
deck with no big shiny, and I don't think you
it's
need
not
to.
needed.
So
Yeah.
the way that it's playing right now,
Still a good card.
it's a very good card.
All the way
But
from
that's my
set
argument.
one, all the way from set one too.
And it took a couple sets for him to actually start coming in and being so dominant, right? In set one,
What-
he didn't have as many items and ramp to
Yeah.
get him out there and be as effective
Yeah.
as he did as the sets went on. So
All right.
It really took the dime to
yes,
make him an
For
all-star
sure.
player.
Kirsten,
Yeah.
thoughts? Vote.
Pete. I voted Pete a long time
You
ago.
vote Pete. All right. Kirsten
Yeah,
votes
no
Pete.
questions. Fun fact, the Tamatoa from the first chapter was one of the hardest cards that we had a time finding. Like,
Oh, really?
we
We
never
were glad
pulled
he was
it.
unplayable at the time.
We were
Yeah.
glad he was unplayable at that point. And I think the first one that we found was when we went to Disney and we were
It's a singles.
shopping
it was a
around for
singles game.
cards,
Yeah.
and we found this really cool card shop that actually had a bar in the back of it.
Like a
It
speakeasy.
was really
yeah.
neat. It was like a little speakeasy. It had this weird looking door that you're like, what's back there? And it's literally just this dark, super cool bar. It was really cool. But yeah, we had such a hard time finding just one of them.
That's actually a really cool idea, honestly, to have a little speakeasy in your game shop.
Oh yeah.
What's your vote, Vince?
Oh,
Vince?
my vote is for Tamatoa.
Wow. Okay.
Ooh.
Randy,
Brad?
I'm gonna be a Pete. I gotta be Pete. I think
You gotta be
Tamatoa is
Pete?
reliant on if you're playing Tamatoa, you have to play Dime, right? So that's
Yeah.
and
No, I
he's not
disagree with
dependent
that.
on
I disagree with that. I think you need to play items, and I think the thing is you need ramp. I think that's really what set this card apart in set one is the fact that you couldn't. It was hard to ramp to 8 ink for this card for its usability.
But what do you need
I
to
don't
play
know.
Pete? You don't need those things to make. There's not a whole package. Pete just
I think-
stops
yeah, Pete-
the flow of the game, right? So
Pete is a very, very strong one-sided utility. The fact that Pete can be
For
played and then
sure.
actions can be played on your turn, and it's just your opponent. I also think a 3-cost 3/3 is a little more accessible, a little better in more situations, I think. And I think we'll see later in another matchup at a surprisingly lower seed than this Tammy is what I would argue is the better Tammy. So I think I'm going to
Happy
give my
Tammy.
vote to
I'm gonna
Pete
vote for it.
here.
okay.
And my thing is that I just will never forget when I went to my first DLC and Brad was playing me the night before, and you were playing, I think, Steel Sapphire, and you went from 0 to 21 with this Tamatoa
yeah,
and a dime. So I'm just saying,
worked out
really-
perfectly. But
really-
again, it was dependent on all these other cards being in the deck. I think as a function, Pete just works better overall. Again, this is all subjective, but yeah, I think we've all landed. The audience landed as well on your side, Vince, with Tamatoa at 75% of the vote. The
not
audience
even
picked
close.
Tamatoa. So Tamatoa will move on.
Are we moving Tammy on, even though we voted for Pete?
Yes.
Audience.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is
rules.
entirely on the listener.
Oh,
We
all
said
right.
it was up to him, remember?
Fair
Yeah.
enough. So it shall be.
If it was a lot
Tamatoa.
closer, I think we could have some kind of tiebreaker. But I think the fact that 75% of the vote went to Tamatoa, we gotta
Yeah,
go that way, right?
I think if it's a 50-50 vote, our votes can
Sure.
be the deciding factor.
He is indeed just so shiny.
I know.
He wasn't always a
Tamatoa.
drab little crab.
All right, next up we've got.
Or he wasn't always. I said that wrong.
Be prepared
4-13.
and Elsa fifth spirits.
Oh boy.
All right, well,
The 4th seed and the 13th seed.
I think my vote has to be for Be Prepared. It's just fundamentally a board wipe card. It has to be.
This should be a landslide.
It has to
Yeah.
exist.
Honestly, this has to be unanimous in my opinion, right? Like, don't get me wrong. I like Elsa fifth spirit. It's really bad that she's getting this matchup. It's a
And
good
she was one of
card.
the ones who slipped into the tournament too. Like she was one of
Yeah.
my like 28 through 32, somewhere in that range, right? So
Well, she, and also she's just a great utility. I mean, especially on Blurple. It was always so frustrating when like I'd play you, Brad, and like you'd bring out and like I'd be like, no, you're making me exert a character. I don't like this.
Yeah, if you think about like the different abilities and like the stats, like this is pretty easy to count up the stats. I mean, a 2/5 for 5 is not great, right? Especially quest for 1. But then when you add
Brawl
rush,
easy.
evasive, and the Pinocchio effect, or just exert on enter, is like all of them added up. You're like, okay, well now I'd pay 5 for that. Like that's worth it.
Right.
But ultimately, fundamentally, I just think like banish all characters. It's 3 words. That's it. There's nothing else to it. No rules, discussion about it. No nothing. Just bye. So yeah, that.
not only is it one of the best songs in Disney Lorcana, it is the best song in Disney entirely, and I will be taking no questions on that.
All right.
Wow,
Well, so that's
those
Brad's
are
vote.
Hot
Vince?
take, Brad.
do you
be
think?
You didn't even
prepared,
have
for
to
sure.
ask me. You could have just pushed
Kirsten?
me over there.
Be prepared.
Be prepared. All right. And
Brad,
the
are you
poll,
prepared?
The chat.
No, I don't want to do it.
Do it.
Now, if he wins
You
the whole
got
thing, he
to.
will.
No.
No, I'll do it. All right, Kirsten, your vote is Be Prepared. It looks like the audience has landed on Be Prepared at 75%. We have Be Prepared moving on over Elsa, the fifth spirit, and I will be taking a break for the rest of the podcast.
All right. Yeah. So it
Can't do
looks
it. I
like
can't
that
do
was
it.
a.
I'm sorry, I'm too nervous.
Almost. It's fine. You don't have to do it. I won't force you.
Vince is giving you the out.
It's never going to be as good as Baker's. I'm sorry.
Emily wants you to do it.
My thing is that my view about this is that it's just so weird for you to say that when you were so confident that you could throw down with Baker,
Because
and now
I'm-
you're backing down. Now you're not as see, this is the problem. This is
Retreat.
the problem is you should be confident. You should be like, you damn right. I'm
Well,
better
in my
than
car,
Baker."
when nobody else is around, I belt that song out like it's nobody's business. Emily
That's
hasn't
why you
even
have
heard
to
me
just
do it.
Pretend.
Yeah, she hasn't even heard me do it. So, yeah, one of these days, I'll treat you guys to it, but it's not. I don't
Is
think it
not
can be this day.
today.
I don't think it can be.
All
We
right,
go-
we got to
we
get
got-
going through these.
Yeah, we do have
I
to.
know,
We
we're
gotta go a little bit
moving on.
faster through this.
Oh my goodness.
Next up here, we've got the 5th seed Friends on the other side, and 12th seed Tinkerbell Giant Fairy. This is a first chapter battle playing out right here.
Absolutely.
I gotta say, I really, for no other reason than the artwork on that
Yeah.
Enchanted, the Tinkerbell Giant Fairy is amazing, and
Amazing.
I love it.
Really good.
And we just got the Enchanted.
Wait, what? You
Yeah.
just got it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they bought
we
it.
got
Bought it.
It's beautiful.
Shout out to Chance.
Oh,
Thank you
Vince is
so much.
mad.
That's all right.
It's
That's all right.
bad.
I'm
He's
gonna
shave his beard now.
I'm
Oh,
gonna
he's
I'm gonna
get it.
break in and steal it.
And you know how I got it? I'm talking about wanting it on the podcast. So
That's like the number one card I've wanted. Number one.
Look at that beautiful card.
it was in my
I had
deck.
it in my possession at one point because I had to transfer it from one person to another.
Do you
Right,
want
it
to
was-
trade Elsa for it? I'm kidding. I'm
I'm-
totally
Whoa,
kidding.
whoa.
I was gonna be like, yes. I'll
Yeah,
take
you're
you.
like, yeah, absolutely.
I'll take you. Sure.
I already showed you, Vince, my Tammy, right? I got the
You guys are
Tammy
gonna have
from
to
our
convince
prize
the audience here if you want Big Tink to move on, because Friends on the Other Side is currently at 64%, and I don't blame it because
Yeah,
it's
I'm
such a
voting.
functional
It
card.
I'm sorry on that tangent. I vote Friends on the other
Yeah.
side. Again, it's just fundamentally such a good card. Tinkerbell is great, especially when you have Shift, and again has like really good, 4/5 quest for 2 for
It's-
6 is much better
Enter the
stat
board,
line. The
splash
ETB,
damage.
Yeah, the
The
splash
auto-vanish.
damage though is great.
it's so great, but
Till
Friends on
Cogsworth
the other
comes out.
side, singing, drawing
Yeah.
2
Keep this
cards
one
is
card,
just so
Brad.
fundamentally broken. Even back in set 1, when you play like the Maleficent, draw a card, next turn sing Friends, draw 2 more.
Yeah.
It's a good song too. I agree, Emily. Great song.
It
I
is. It is a great song, but I'm sorry, I've got to go. I mean, I do agree that Friends on the Other Side is the better card, but I got to go with my girl Tink.
All
I
right.
am
My,
also
my
voting
lady.
because our votes don't matter, and I'm gonna vote for the cool one with the pretty
Brad?
heart that I
Mhm.
also have the Enchanted of, and the signed mat by Steve. So
You're making me go lean toward Tink, but I
Tink,
think
Tink, Tink, Tink.
I gotta take Friends. I think.
And I
Friends is
met
the-
Tink. I
yeah.
have a picture with Tink with my Tink mat. So
Oh,
And
in
she had that
Seattle, yeah.
cool deck box too.
I have a
Yeah.
signed Tink card by Tinkerbell.
yes,
What if Tink sings Friends? Yeah. Tink
She
can
could do
sing
that.
Friends.
that's great. That's cool.
could
But
do that.
like, that's my vote.
And looks like our audience has
Sticking
done
with it.
voting, ending the poll at
Ooh, so close.
froze.
63% Friends on the
Oh
other side.
man, our vote almost mattered.
I don't see the
I
results
know.
anymore, but it was at 64%.
Yeah, it's 63
63 to 36.
36.
Yeah.
I don't see it in the chat. That's weird. But
I do.
yeah, congratulations to Friends on the Other Side.
All right, and then are we ready to move on to the next one?
Yep. Go ahead and start talking
Madam
about
Im,
it.
Madam Im Fox Bell, Apprentice Inventor. So set 2 card versus an Arcasia's Island card.
I know where I put Belle on my list, but still, if you put these two up against each other, I think Fox is better.
I agree. I think Fox is better. I think
Like
Fox is the
1,000
better
times
card.
better.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm
I-
in agreement.
Oh,
Belle's the flavor of the week.
Belle has a
Yeah.
crutch. She literally like, needs another
Mhm.
card to work.
That's right. That's
I mean, I guess
absolutely
so
right.
does Fox if I'm saying that because you
Yeah,
didn't
yeah, so
even
does
try on
Fox.
the
Yeah.
word.
He has to bounce.
I don't know how
But
many times.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. Fox is we've seen Fox in active meta play since it came
That
out
too.
Oh, yeah,
in Rise of Floodborn. Are we going to see in 5 more sets this Bell card being played? I think the likelihood of that is pretty low, actually.
I don't
So-
know if that likelihood's low. I think that she'll still probably be around, but like, it's certainly not as big of a staple to the ink color. You know what I mean? Fox is a clear staple for Amethyst, no matter what. But there are definitely Sapphire decks that aren't running her.
Yeah, for sure. The Ruby
Yeah.
Sapphire one doesn't even run
Yeah,
the Belle
like it doesn't
package
really
usually.
matter what you pair with Amethyst. You're pretty much always gonna have a Fox. It's like almost guaranteed.
Yeah, and
Doesn't
as
matter
Joel
what you have.
Joel puts in chat here,
I'm
Bell
on-
is
I'm on
only
Fox.
truly great on turn 1.
So
Yeah.
I think part of it is the chasing the rabbit when you play this character, banish or return another chosen character of yours to your hand is meant to be a negative, right? But when you can flip a negative effect into a positive in the game, then it really sort of breaks the game. Obviously this doesn't break the game, but the idea of having to be punished like by returning or paying one of your characters back to your hand, instead you just use that to protect a character that you wanted to. And the
Yeah.
fact that you can immediately rush with this character, the only thing better I think would be maybe not better but comparable would be a character that you could play and then sing with immediately, which I think is something we'll eventually get in the game where there's like a this character doesn't have to be dry to
feel like
sing
the
songs, or this
closest
character
thing
can sing
to that is
songs.
Prince Naveen, where he plays it for free.
Yeah. But Prince Naveen doesn't become exerted because of it. uh,
Yeah.
and it had a limit that is it the same cost that he's a singer 6 and it's a 6 cost song, right?
That was
So
5. I don't remember.
5.
Naveen's a 4 cost.
No, I mean the
Right, but
ink
he's a singer 6
for the
and he
song.
can
Yeah.
play.
Yeah, singer.
But yeah, you know, an ability that says this character can sing the turn they are played, like a rush for songs. But
Yeah.
yeah,
You know, the thing I would just add though is I do think that the designers of the game actually did want to make the bounce package a negative, and it just what ended up happening is like a lot of the not great bounce cards just don't see play, right? Like we
Yeah.
just play
The elephant.
all of the good bounce cards, and either they synergize really well, or like you said, Andy, you use them to protect a card. You know, you could play things like, whether you're Ruby Amethyst, you can play things like, you know, Madame Medusa or Lady Tremaine, and you know, then you've got that card in your hand again to play again later on. You can quest with other cards to bounce them back to then replay them. You can do things with like Crab to buff up your
Yep.
you know, Fox. So I just think like the synergy's all there. But it does look like pretty
Clean
resounding
sweep.
win. So we
Yeah.
all won. We all voted for the Fox, and
Unanimous.
Pretty favorable matchup there. The two
Yeah.
seed versus the 15.
this next
and
one is
yeah,
spicy.
we got Ariel and Daisy. Oh,
Ariel
boy.
and
Ariel.
This one I had a hard time picking.
Easy.
Yeah,
I had a
who-
hard time picking on this one, and I still will. I'm gonna need some. Convincing on either side.
So I'm right out the gate going Daisy.
Yeah,
oof,
I'm kind of in agreement.
But why?
Like,
why?
So my view on this is that much in the same way that you need to like, the problem is like Daisy, if you get it on one, which I feel like almost always happens, right? Like with your altar and stuff, or even if you don't, like in a series of 3 games, you're gonna get it pretty frequently to play on one, and it's just such an oppressive card for your opponent to like get around and be able to deal with, especially when you're playing up against some of these more item heavy decks, because you can quest freely and they're just putting items or songs back in their deck. The problem is that I've seen far too many people just miss on Ariel's draw for songs, just totally whiff it. And I
that
just
happened so many times.
and I
too.
just
Yeah.
think that's the problem. Is it's one of those cards where you have to play a certain amount of songs, and
Mhm.
sometimes it just doesn't work as well into the game you want. That's
Yep.
my
Yeah. That's. I mean, I
That's-
agree entirely. The problem with Daisy, again, she's really hard to get rid of for the first couple turns, but she's also given the opponent most of the time cards. I do like her right now when I'm playing her in my Mufasa decks. Like, yeah, I'm playing up against Emerald or any of these steel item decks. Like, yeah, I'm bottoming so many cards. But ultimately, I think that the song package and Steel Song, when it does hit, there's a negative to it as well. I think Ariel is so strong, especially when we just talked about Naveen. Like, you don't even have to wait. Well, I mean, you still have to wait till your next turn. But even if Ariel doesn't survive to sing it the next song, you got Naveen who comes out and plays it for free. So after finding whatever song it is you're looking for. So I mean, again, that's what goes back to our first conversation with Tamatoa, where it relies on other things being in the deck as part of the package. But I think being able to put her down on 3 and find, you know, a powerful song to keep your tempo or change the game. I mean, it changes the game depending on what song you find too, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know.
well,
It can. I don't know. I'm gonna go with Daisy just because if I'm putting together an amber steel deck or just an amber deck with whatever ink color, and you give me these two and say you have to pick between one, I'm gonna pick the Daisy.
Yeah. The Ariel needs the setup, like you said.
Yeah.
The Daisy is another one where the negative is potentially giving your opponent card, but if you can flip that into a positive, i.e., you're playing against a deck that has lots of songs, actions, items, then you know, it becomes a positive, and now it's a 1 cost 1/4 quest for 2, which is just insane. But the fact that that's kind of out of your control, really, other than just, you know, teching for the meta necessarily, like reading the meta properly. But really, it being out of your control. It's up to what your opponent's playing, and luck, obviously. Whereas with the aerial, if you build your deck towards it, one thing we saw in the earlier sets were they were playing 21 plus songs in their deck, and now people are playing aerial with considerably less songs.
Yep.
Which makes the probability of hitting it much less. So,
Yep.
But I also think the
you
downside
almost have
of that,
yourself to blame when you put together a deck that doesn't work with aerial. So if you put it in the right deck, aerial is just a menace.
But the
So
downside to
my
that
vote's
though
with-
is like when you don't have enough when you don't have enough songs, you could potentially be putting away really good cards on the bottom of your deck in your steel song, and I think that's actually a significant
count that.
detractor.
That's a fallacy. It's just like inking off of one jump or something like that. Those cards that you end up putting to the bottom of the deck, you didn't know what they were anyway, so you can't.
Sure. Sure, but,
It's just
I mean,
luck.
we've talked about this as a problem though in other decks, right? Whereas it's like, the value of getting a particular card. I think Ariel's better, but there are item cards that do very similar things. I mean, there are character cards that do very similar things for items in your
Right.
deck. And the thing is you'd much rather have certain cards in your hand than necessarily some song or not hit anything and stuff. You just this is why things like like Sapphire has a lot of tools where you get to choose of the cards you're drawing which ones you want, and you have better utility to cycle through your deck. Honestly, like the problem is that if you draw these cards, you put them at the bottom of your deck and you're unlikely to ever get back to that part of your deck again in this.
Right,
in
but
this
again,
color
you
combination.
can't say that something's bad because you're only getting one song and putting 3 cards on the bottom of your deck, and those 3 cards could have been good. You have multiple copies of all the good cards in your deck, and that's the same with Vision. That was the same fallacy we went through with
I
Vision as
disagree
well.
that.
Those
I
cards
100% disagree that it's a fallacy.
I
think
Wait,
it's
It just
Yeah.
is though. That's why Vision
gotta-
is a great card, and that's why
It's not though. It's not a fallacy. I mean, it's an argument that you just don't agree with, and that's fine.
Yeah, we gotta move on though.
right.
We have
Daisy
so many of
won
these to do.
Vote,
Yeah,
right?
we're gonna be here
Yeah.
all night.
Yeah,
anyway.
Daisy won
We don't-
81% by the audience vote. And yeah, I think ultimately I would land on Ariel. So thanks for moving me over there.
Yeah, I think
Fair enough.
Ariel's a good card if you
And it's probably the hardest round 1 matchup for me, honestly, because
and it's card draw.
All right.
it's
Well,
really
next up we have Calhoun, Marine Sergeant, and Ursula, Deceiver of All.
good.
This I think might be an upset. I think
We
Calhoun
like upsets.
at 3 might be a little high.
Calhoun at 3.
Yeah.
I mean,
somebody
yeah.
put them on the list too high up.
I wonder how this would have done now if we'd done the lists like, because again we did these lists
Right before the set came out.
right before the set came out. Yeah.
I think DOA is a great card still. No ETB, kind of stinks. Calhoun's great at
To
controlling
be fair,
the
neither does
board.
Calhoun.
Right, neither is Calhoun, but
It's a threat.
right. The
Sure.
threat of Ursula is great. And yeah, I think again you put him in the right deck, Ursula becomes much stronger than Calhoun. Ursula does something regardless, whether it's double sync friends or double sync strength or storm. Whereas Calhoun requires them to turn sideways, right? And we've seen it before where you just kind of get in those like stalemates. You stare each other down with the Calhouns. And then like someone eventually, nowadays, someone's 1-drop 3/3 quest for 3 or 3/3 3 cost a quest for 1 will just sing strength and get rid of it. So
Yeah.
not great.
I'm with Ursula on this one.
It's tough. I like that Ursula's inkable. The
That
problem
too,
that
yeah.
comes out though is she comes out and she's brawlable and
Yep.
and Calhoun is not. And so I think Calhoun sticks around a lot longer and threatens that extra 2 lore. You can sing strength or something to take care of that Calhoun. But
Sing
it's
Bibbidi
a-
on a goat. Boom. That's more than
Yeah.
2 lore right there. Double sing
I've
bosses on a
I-
wall. Boom. to lore.
I respect Calhoun as a card. I don't run enough steel to really feel her power, but I absolutely respect it. But I think I'm more high on the what Ursula can do. So I'm gonna vote for Ursula.
Kirsten?
We're at 50-50 on the audience poll right now, by the
Not
way,
gonna
too.
lie,
So this,
I was gonna vote for Calhoun, but like,
All
Right,
right.
okay.
Calhoun it
Yeah,
is.
go for
you
Calhoun.
put me
And
you
the
put me on the
viewer
wrong side
vote.
though. Yeah.
Come on, we need someone to break the tie here. Calhoun or Ursula, deceiver of all.
Emily's voting Ursula.
more
Voting
votes, more
Ursula.
votes.
I mean,
Yeah.
So,
just
all right.
by the
13
fact that it's a
Watson
legendary.
and 10 votes. So I feel like 3 of us being on Ursula is going to advance her if we end this on a 50-50.
All right, we're giving it 10 seconds.
All right,
And,
10
uh,
seconds.
It's
all
silent, I hope, because that's not great.
Yep.
We're gonna end
Well,
the poll at 50-50. That is
yeah.
a close one for
That- go on.
such a wide matchup. 3 and 14, and Ursula's going to be the tiebreaker upset.
The first tiebreaker we've had to do so far. I wonder if we'll have another one. So I'm going to put a little bit of a timer on here. I'm going to give us a minute 30 seconds to talk about all of them, and then we're going to end the poll. All right, so that we can move through
Okay.
this first round.
Yep,
Yeah,
that'd be
we're
great.
gonna be here till midnight.
All right, so moving on to Mr. Smee, Bumbling Mate, and Beast Tragic Hero. Bumbling Mate coming at 6, and Beast Tragic Hero at 11.
I'm voting for Mr. Smee because
Same.
simply Smee is life. Next question.
Yeah, I'm with Smee on
Yeah.
this one as well.
Smee is
Cards are
life.
missing. There they are.
Cool. Beast is
Yeah.
nice. Beast is very easily damageable. I'm going Mr. Smee.
Beast had his time.
Yep,
I
he
think
did.
he was so expensive for so long, but because he was very good for that extra draw. But all the options that we have, because he came out in set 2, all the options that we have now to damage him so he doesn't get the draw or just straight up get rid of him before he's even effective,
Yeah.
is you don't
I
see him in a
feel
lot
like
of
draw
steel decks
somewhere
anymore.
else.
I also just want to
there's
say
so many-
that if you voted for Tamatoa and you like Tamatoa, you should vote for Mr. Smee because there are crabs in the Mr. Smee art. So,
I was like, where are you going with
Team
this?
Crabs,
Wow.
Mr. Smee
Yeah, Mr.
is on Team
Crabfoot.
Crabs, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
I don't
saying.
really have anything to add. You've all said everything that I was gonna say. So
yes,
yeah,
Smee
I'm
have
the
insane
same.
stats. I agree. Arnold, Mr. Smee is insanely overstated. And if you look now, you're like, oh, but Andy, there's other 2-cost 3/3s that exist now. And I say, okay, well, what is that? Raja? That's it, right?
Yeah.
Snake,
Oh,
right?
all right.
Bounce is good,
Let's
but
close the poll.
Smee. Only one
Mr.
question.
And
two.
Mr.
Takes
Smee
down the
moves on.
legendary Beast.
All right.
Kind of wild too. Remember how great that card was when
Yeah.
it came out and everybody wanted it? I mean, I still want it. I still
mean,
like it.
Beast is still a good card. It's just no ETB. So
Yep. But
They
speaking of
get you.
ETBs, moving on to the Missouri bracket here, we've got Merlin Goat up against Sail, the Azurite Sea.
That's kind of a tough one too.
No, it's not. It's the goat.
Yeah, this is Goat. Goat all the way. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with Kirsten.
The goat
Uh,
is
Yeah,
the
it was-
goat, and that is
Is that
just
is that
the-
bias against Sapphire though? Because
No.
Sail is
No.
very powerful. I don't know why it's a 16
Sail is a
speed.
Tipo with a card.
Tipo,
Cool.
Sail,
Move
Tipo,
on.
Draw
one
extra
jump.
ink and yeah,
If
like
Sail didn't
A
exist,
Tipo with a card and no body.
if Sail didn't exist, people would just be playing
good.
4 one jumps and 4 Tipos to guarantee that turn
Yeah,
2 ramp.
there's
Okay.
other
Yeah.
cards that do like the exact same thing.
Yeah.
What else
I'm,
does what the goat does? Nothing, because
Or
he's the
Pleakley.
goat.
They be pleekly in things. I played
But
somebody today in testing, and they pleeklied their bell. We were in a bell stalemate, and they were like, "All right, quest
yeah.
pleekly." I was like,
And
Just-
I mean,
okay.
how many times are you gonna go? I really need to top deck a Sail to win this game. Never,
Yeah, no,
never
Half
is
shark.
that going to
Half
happen.
shark.
100
If they have like
100%.
4 half sharks
Leave
on the
me
board,
alone.
and they're at 16 lore,
though. No, but my question is, how many times though have you come to a game
it is
and
the best
you
ramp card,
or
I
your
agree, Paul.
opponent have come out with they need the goat to win and they get the goat and it
Yes.
closes it
Yeah.
out. It's the
Yep.
Yeah,
best
I've been-
feeling
I've-
ever.
I get it. It happens
Yeah.
to be. It's happened to me so many times. There was one
So-
time against Kirsten at Grapes that was absolutely just top deck galore. Yeah, we don't have to get into. That was way It's happened to
So-
everybody. That
yeah.
goat's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are we all unanimous on goat? Or are we anybody
Yep.
voting for sale?
Brad
All
wants
right.
to vote for sale.
I was
Let's
just
close it
putting up
out.
the
Let's close
argument.
it out.
We're closing out the poll at 58%. We have the goat moving on
Wow, that's
to.
That
The
was
next
than I
close.
thought it was gonna
Wow.
be.
I told you it was going to be a close one.
Anyone who voted
Nobody
for
listens to
sale,
the mayor.
I'm sorry, but someone's going to top deck a goat and win the game against you very soon, and you're.
Just to be clear, what Andy wants to say is you should unsubscribe. Don't follow us.
No.
Leave.
Wow.
Don't
Don't ever do that.
Wow.
I'm just
This is
joking.
toxic.
I'm being sarcastic.
I'm joking.
I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm being. No, I'm kidding.
Next
All right,
matchup. What do we
next up.
got?
We got Cinderella, Ballroom Sensation, 8 seed against a close seed, 9th seed Diablo, Devoted Herald. Now this I think is actually a hard one.
That's really
Ooh.
hard.
This is a very hard one.
I got both the enchanted arts there. Whoa, is
Well,
that
when you start the
Diablo coloring messed up for you guys, or is that just my
I
monitor?
can't see it.
I can't
No,
see
it was messed up as well on the stream. Unfortunately, it looked like it was a little see through. like
not
it's,
letting me start a poll.
Oh, it's
Oh, I see it
because
now.
it's because
All of the green has been looking like that, by the way. It did that on
Yeah.
Ursula Deceiver and on Ariel's tail in
Yeah.
the
Oh, all right.
five
Well, I
plus here.
mean, we can just go
Anyway.
like a little less production here, and then like remove.
Oh, I see why. I have to.
I was green.
I'm gonna
screen.
abbreviate Cinderella because it won't. I have too many characters
go.
in the first option here. Ballroom Sensation. All right,
So-
there's our poll.
All right.
I don't really know.
Yeah, so arguments here.
hmm.
Turn one is just it's another turn one card that when it's facing you, like Daisy, you have the okay, I'm gonna get draw off that, but I'm gonna have a hard time dealing with it. Cinderella's like, play whatever you want. I'm probably gonna sing a song that takes it out. You know, she's been the staple of Steel songs since set 2, and now it's now what Belle does for all the Sapphire decks, where Belle comes out for free on one and can sing those same songs to deal with you like Cindy can. So she's they've both been villain of the week here on the Rules of Villainy podcast, and for different reasons, but they're both so strong. Fun fact, I actually voted for the 1-cost Diablo for this tournament and not the legendary one.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how
I-
I
One
don't care
drop
about
Diablo.
that bird.
Which one
Yeah.
cost Diablo?
The one drop that
My-
lets you
my
see your
thing
hand,
is
because I
that-
feel like looking at
The
looking at
purple-
the opponent's
the
hand, all that
amethyst
information.
one?
yeah.
The
The
one that
Emerald
if you
one.
have a Maleficent in play, you get to
No,
look at the
yes,
top card.
yes,
of your
that
deck.
one, Andy, the jank one. Get out of here. You
I
know which
just-
one I'm talking about.
The only thing that makes me ever so slightly lean, and I'll probably put myself on the Diablo side here, is that Diablo is one of those like must answer cards, or your opponent is
I'm
just
going
going to
Diablo.
draw
Sure.
an insane amount of cards. And so,
Yeah.
I'm on
whereas Cinderella isn't really a must answer, it is just a really good card though for the Amber Steel player.
I kind
Diablo
of
is just
agree
high
because
roll.
like they have a lot of the same stipulations, like the same like card cost requirements to play and all of that. You know, because with Cindy you're gonna want to need or you're going to need a song to want to play. For Diablo you need an action to play, but also Diablo can do the same thing that Cindy can do on turn 2
Yeah.
if you can
that's fair.
shift him because he's
That's
then
fair.
a singer 3.
And then
So
he
I
draws
almost
another
think
card.
Diablo is the better card between the two because he has all of those things and
And
he
he's
can do a
evasive.
card, and
All
he's
right.
evasive.
So final votes, Andy,
I'm
You're
voting
going-
Diablo.
Yeah.
I'm on Cindy.
Kirsten.
Kirsten's on Cindy.
and I'm on
No, I think-
Diablo.
No, I'm on Diablo.
Oh, he put you in the wrong spot.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, you said
I just
Cindy at
made all of
first.
those arguments about Diablo.
And the audience has voted
Diablo is answered by
67%.
Cindy. Cindy is answered by
66% at Cindy.
Diablo.
Yeah.
This is who goes
What'd you say?
first. No, Paul in chat says Diablo is answered by Cindy, and I said, yeah, well, Cindy
Cindy's
is
answered
answered by Diablo.
All right, moving along
So who
here,
wins,
we've
Cindy
got
here.
Hiram Flaversham up against Maui Half Shark.
Oh boy. This is a spicy one.
Is
I
it?
don't know. I don't know that it's that close, honestly.
Yeah, for
Really?
me,
People
this
are
is an
gonna-
easy one. It's Hiram.
It's got to be Hiram, I think, right?
It like the draw power, the consistency. He's hard. He's like I wouldn't say he's like impossible to remove. He's easy to, but he's like a 1/6 on 4.
But
is
does he
just-
go cheap? Does he? No.
And so I think the toy maker has got to get it. He's got my vote.
Yeah.
I don't really have a solid opinion because I don't play either of these cards on a regular basis whatsoever. So I'm going with the like my favorite character aspect, and I'm going with Maui.
Does he not have a daughter that goes
'Cause
Tobe?
It's Maui time.
Tobe.
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 Is it his daughter or is it his niece? I don't remember.
I don't
Ooh,
know.
Don't get me
Emily
wrong.
loves the Maui card. Look at that.
Maui Half Shark it's a great card, and this is I think
For
a
sure.
difficult matchup. But I just think like high. Here's the thing: I have seen decks without Maui Half Shark. Not,
So-
I
Sure.
mean it's different, but I've never seen a deck without
Hiram.
Hiram.
Yeah, I've seen him.
Have
Just
you
like
ever watched any
Kiwi
deck that
birds.
wasn't
Kiwi
Sapphire?
bird?
Yeah, or Kiwi Birds type Sapphire Steel. But the real thing is like, for me, the Hiram is one of few characters that have this ETB/quest ability, where
Yeah, both.
it gets a great ability, but then it gets to do it again and again and again and again and again, which is insane.
Nope.
6,
Yeah.
Yeah.
6 willpower is great, but one of the other things when I look at these head-to-heads here is if I ramp, we're both ramping, right? Shark's probably being played with Sapphire Ruby. We're both ramping. I play Hiram on 4. You do whatever you do. Maybe ramp again, so that you can get to
Not
Shark
on Shark.
5.
Put me over on Hiram.
You play Shark down, right? Are you not on Shark? Okay.
No, I was just being obnoxious.
So you
I didn't mean
play-
to interrupt you.
All right,
They play
so-
Shark on
Doesn't-
6.
doesn't
Guess,
matter.
guess what? Boom. Sing Zeus.
Yeah.
Hiram takes out the
That's
Shark.
great.
Hiram
Wh-
wins.
where we
the
all
last
at?
thing I'll
So-
say, yeah. The
Nope,
last
we
thing I'll
gotta move
say.
on.
Hiram
We gotta
won.
move
Oh my
on.
God! Nobody's calling the
Brad.
band the Shark, right? Yeah.
Is anyone
But yeah,
calling the band
72% Hiram is gonna.
Hiram moves along.
Yeah.
And we
Or were
move
you asking
along
Andy? I'm sorry.
ourselves.
I was gonna say, yeah. Who's asking to ban Hiram?
Everybody.
I thought
Since,
we were just
since like
arriving.
Cat 4.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Well,
It's-
next up
I was
is
just being silly.
Rapunzel, gifted with healing.
No, it isn't.
Oh, baby.
2 up against.
No, it isn't.
Oh, I'm sorry. Nope, I'm on the wrong one. I'm in the wrong one. Not going in order here. Next up is our 5th seed Maui Hero to all to our 12th seed Sisu Empowered.
time is it?
Sibling.
It's Maui
It's
time.
Maui time.
Maui time. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm Maui in this one.
I don't know.
Interesting.
This was a really hard one for me because like Maui is such a great card. Again, looking at stats, but like you have to be exerted to use it. Sisu is kind of a high rolly card. I don't know.
It can shift out cheaper.
Yeah.
And it's a one-sided be prepared if you,
Right.
especially in the meta right now with the Sapphire
Coil.
Coil. I mean, again, these are a bunch of tools that have to come in effect to
I
get
don't
the
like
full
Sisu
effect
very
of her
much.
enter the board.
Also, the art is bland, in my opinion. No
What?
offense, no offense, but I think they could have done more with this, with like the foiling perhaps to make this really
Oh.
pop. Do you have one of these, Vince?
I was
I had a
was
foil
thinking-
too.
I
I
was
traded
thinking
it in
I
Chicago.
did, but I don't. I have
Womp
I
womp.
have the Floodborn. I'm sorry, yeah, the Rise of the Floodborn one, not
Sisu,
this one.
okay,
This
right.
one.
Oh, the Enchanted
Uh,
Set too.
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. But that
Um,
one's a beautiful card.
That one is really
Uh,
pretty.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like Sisu is great, and
I'm
she
going
has been since
Maui.
she came out a couple of sets ago. But Maui,
Done.
since set 1, has pretty much been a staple in almost every Ruby deck. Just to come out on 5 and crash into something to kind of change the tempo a little bit. And then when he's not, he's reckless, and so when he can't challenge into something, he can sing the songs to advance. With your how fars and all these funny songs that Maui shouldn't be singing.
Yeah. Maui doesn't
but
use a
it's-
stinking
I can
coil
see
though.
you, but you're never singing anything with Sisu except maybe Be Prepared. But
I don't know. I just think Andy said it, wrapped it up that Sisu is just a really high rolly card, right?
In my
Like
opinion,
it's
yeah.
gonna work sometimes. And the thing is like I've just found myself when I play this card in those decks is like, especially when you're in these mirror matches, it's getting removed immediately by your opponent, right? With some other card, whether they're gonna play their own coil and use something like Medusa it
But
away or whatever.
You know what?
But
Real
anyway.
quick, we're probably out of time, but you'll love this, Vince, and you'll let me go anyway. You know what the best counter I heard about is to Sisu? Thomas
Yes.
O'Malley.
Ooh,
So you play
Thomas
the
O'Malley.
3-cost 4/2 warded Thomas O'Malley in Emerald, and that way when they big Sisu you, that won't be able to be killed or banished because it can't be coiled and it's above Sisu range. They can't get rid of it no matter what. And then when they quest with the Sisu, boom, you hit him with the O'Malley cat, and the Sisu's gone, and you just traded your 3-cost kitty cat for their 8-cost dragon.
That's
I
beautiful.
love it. I love it. I
That's
love it.
But coming to the end here, we got everybody here picked Maui, but the audience at 60% selected Sisu to advance forward.
This is the first time I feel like the audience is wrong. We need to
No, I
overrule them.
like Sisu a lot. I don't think you like it's weird because we don't we're past it. We're moving on to the next one.
But you know what? It's an upset. We'll move on.
Yeah.
Next up is
This is gonna be
our
a
number
crazy
2
one.
seed Rapunzel, gifted with heal, versus our 15th seed Popsicle.
Look,
It's not a hard
just-
comp.
Popsicle.
let me say this:
Talk about Popsicle.
1-cost cantrip items will come, and they will go. There will be popsicles. There will be fortispheres. There will be something sickles, saphirs in the future. Okay, but Rapunzel is the only one of her kind. All right, and don't you dare spam chat with Julieta. Okay, she is no Rapunzel. All right, Rapunzel is such an insanely good card.
You know,
Popsicle
my
is
only
just-
counter to this is that I've always gotten Popsicle to work. Like I've always gotten it in, when I needed it and stuff. But I have never once been able to successfully pull off Rapunzel, gifted with healing. But every time my opponent is. And so for that reason alone, I'm voting for Popsicle.
Yeah, you can vote for Popsicle.
I don't even know that you've ever played Amber in your life.
Yeah.
No, I did. I've played Amber.
One time, a year
I'll
ago.
tell you what, I have to go. I mean, as much as like,
You have to go,
Harsh
Brad.
from
See ya.
Northern Kirsten.
Bye. See you later.
I'm
He has
not
to go.
like I'm very high on like not loving Popsicle right now and just how much it adds to the oppression of Sapphire, but I can't deny Rapunzel of she's the only big draw in Amber.
Listen,
So,
we
there are
know
other
that you're gonna choose her because
Yeah, I'm
you're
picking-
you're
yeah,
big
yeah.
you're big
Sure.
on the whole what's
Rapunzel stan.
those colors
No. Oh, you know what it is.
Yeah.
Fasa.
Ugh.
Ruby Pasa, baby. Section
Boo.
winner.
Ruby Fox.
Sure play Matt.
Kirsten, what do you think?
Rapunzel.
Rapunzel? Is it just
Yeah,
because she's a
Rapunzel for
princess?
sure. But it is a close battle with the audience. At 55% right now, Rapunzel is leading with 11
can't-
votes.
Let's
So
go,
that's time.
Punzi.
You can play around
We
Rapunzel,
close it.
you can't play around Popsicle. Oh no, they played an item and drew a card off that item?
There is no
when you
playing
see
around
popsicles,
popsicle. This is
the
gonna
problem
go
is when
away
you see
eventually
popsicles,
anyway.
you know that like you're in for trouble for the rest of the game.
Or a
and
45-minute
Oh,
game.
50-50.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Oh,
Here's
wow.
the deal. Here's
It changed to 50-50.
here's the
Well,
deal. Here's the thing.
Rapunzel.
I'm gonna give. Before we move on, I got one thing. Here's the thing. How about this? You're about to play Rapunzel. I use my Popsicle to heal your card. Prevents you from getting your draw power.
But see,
What
Look
now?
at that.
Advanced Rapunzel players know that like you can't like they said you have to play around Rapunzel. So as soon as you turn your bell sideways, then I just send my Nala into it, and then I get the. So I'm getting the damage dealt to me and doing the healing on the same turn. So your Popsicle is impervious to my healing magic. All
That's
right.
what you think. That's what you think.
Yeah.
But
We got one-
I'm playing 3D chess. But anyway, we're done. We're moving on.
Yeah, we got one final vote at the time that I hit the end thing. The
That
Rapunzel
was
was winning. It
John.
ended at 50-50, but so we'll have to move Ruby off of the Rapunzel side. But because 3 of us are over there, Rapunzel is going to advance to round 2.
Yeah.
It is.
Hey,
Next up,
Rapunzel.
we got How
Alright.
Far I'll Go in the
It
7th
was a
seed
tie.
versus our Tamatoa. Happy as a clan. I'm beautiful, baby. In our number 10
baby.
seed.
No opinion.
As soon as Andy made that clip of you saying that, I played that over and over again. And Emily's like, "What are you listening to?" And I was making a reel for it. It just kept.
Ah.
replaying.
All right. So I love the card How Far I'll Go. I think it's great. I think it's like really a good design card. I think it's honestly pretty fair, like pretty reasonable. 2 cards, draw 1, ink 1, 4 cost. Uninkables kind of not great, but like it itself essentially becomes ink. Like it guarantees you an ink. But I do think this Tamatoa is, I think it's it. Really to say it one way.
Its ETB effect is just so great.
It's a better version of the other Tamatoa, and the other you're like, oh, but the other Tamatoa is like you can always use it over and over again, but really, you don't ever get to or need to. You usually win the game by then. This is such a great tool with Hiram and the items that we have, and being able to play an item for free. Like I think it works really, really well. I think it will do Sapphire great stuff for a while to come. So I think my vote's on Tammy here for sure. Also,
Pretty
that
much the
art
same
is
reasons.
just like so good.
Tamatoa for me as well.
I think right now Tamatoa is the pick, like in the present day. I think over time and the history of how far I'll go, that it'll continue to be as good as it is in Sapphire, while Tamatoa might fall off. I mean, we're always going to get new
Brad,
items and everything too.
This just
So
in, Brad said Tamatoa ain't it.
I didn't.
It's no good. It's no
That's
good.
not what I said. Listen, I'm
Burn 'em
not.
all.
I respect
You didn't say
Tamatoa.
that to me.
Yeah,
Oh.
I feel like I want to go with how far I'll go, honestly.
All right.
Hey,
What
that's
about you,
how far
Kirsten?
you'll go.
That's where I'm going with it. Yeah, we'll see how far
Kirsten,
I go with
how
it.
far
The
will you
vote is-
go?
Yeah.
Where are you at, Kirsten?
Meh.
All right,
she has a
she's in the
kid.
middle.
They're both sapphires. He's not voting.
Stay in the
Yeah.
middle.
I don't play
All
any
right.
of these
Chat
cards.
is-
Let's end the poll.
End of the poll at
Chat,
75%.
John shows up and all of a sudden Tamatoa is 75%. Actually, he was probably having a hard time with this one. I know he loves how far I'll go as well.
You voting for my mobile devices?
All right. We're moving on to
He gets
Madam
enchanted-
Mim the
Tammy
boss.
enchanted bonus, yeah.
Who?
Very true.
Madam Mim the boss.
Adam Mim the boss.
Madam
That's the
Mim-
fourth time. The
I'm
fourth
doing it
time.
on purpose now.
I don't think you are.
No. So Madam Medusa the boss, our number 3 seed versus 14 Madam Mim Snake.
You mean Madam Medusa Snake?
Madam.
You literally had me double check. Like, did I get that wrong too?
No, let me start with this one. It's kind of a meme that we've never used Madame Medusa as villain of the week here because it was so evident at the time that we started this podcast that Madame Medusa was the card, right? She comes down, takes out anything with 3 strength or less off the board. Any future card that came out in every set was gauged against whether or not Medusa could just come out and take it out, right? She's that powerful. The issue with the snake, not the issue, the perk of the snake is she doesn't have rush like the fox, but she's 1 cheaper. So in the late game, when you need to bounce stuff, like if you want to get your goat rotation, your rabbit rotation, you can do it very cheaply with the snake. And she's a 3/3. She can't do it on the turn she's played unless you hit her with a Cogsworth or something. But it's a very cheap, the cheapest bounce I think we have in that package, right? If I'm not mistaken. So that's her biggest perk right there. But that's my 2 cents. I lean toward Medusa, but I understand the power of the snake being a Blurple player.
Here's
Her
my
biggest
only
perk
point.
is I don't feel so bad about inking her.
The snake.
You what?
Snake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said her biggest perk is I don't feel so bad about inking her
Yeah.
when I
Here's
have to. I'm going Medusa.
here's my biggest point about
really
Madam Mim Snake. Dies to Medusa. Next.
Yeah. Medusa here. And I think they think we're all unanimous on Medusa, right?
I'm on
And,
Medusa. The audience is on Medusa at 62%.
let's go ahead and close the poll.
All right.
And that's
ending
how
the poll in 3, 2,
And that's how the boss does
1.
it.
The boss. gets
61%.
All right. So next up, this is our final in round 1 here. Our number 6 seed, Lucky Dime, versus our number 11 seed, Lady Tremaine, Imperious Queen. And listen, I'm going to start this one, y'all. Okay? Hear me out. Hear me out.
I knew you would. I knew you would.
Hear me out. All right? Hear me out.
Dime.
Lady Tremaine is good in basically every format of this game. She is a playable card. She's phenomenal in multiplayer. She is great in sealed or draft if you get her. She is a rock star, I also think, in the game. Because here's the thing. Yeah, you might say that Lucky Dime is a good card, but it's a win more card, and it's not in every deck these days. But I tell you what, you might want that Lady Tremaine to remove that card from your opponent's board, and you'll need her, and she will do exactly what you want. Because you know what, you might sometimes Madame Medusa doesn't do it for you. Sometimes she doesn't do it, but you know what, Lady Tremaine will come through when you need her to.
I think he's just filibustering at this point. He's just trying to eat up our whole time with Lady Tremaine propaganda, really.
I'm just saying.
Look,
I'm just saying.
She's
I
a
love my
lady in
girl.
chair. She deserves
I agree.
respect, but like Lucky Dime is just like so good. So
Lucky
she's
Dime
cheating at
changed the game.
Man.
She's cheating at the game.
It's just like how
John,
Fargo,
John,
Lucky Dime, people
John,
slept on it
she
for a few
is playable in every format. I disagree.
Here's one thing Vince didn't say, and that was a big deal back in the NA Continentals. Have you ever played a Tremaine and then shifted on a Tremaine?
Oh,
Like,
amazing,
even
right?
cheaper.
Amazing. So
You
good.
can't do that with
So
a
good.
dime.
Yeah, you
Can't do
it
that
all
with a
the time.
dime.
Yeah, but you know what you do instead? You use the Tammy from before to play the dime for free, and then you just play another dime. And you don't need to shift on top. You just play another dime for free, and then boom, you get in big lore. It's just cheating.
Yeah.
The dime is just cheating. It's so insane. Kirsten, what do you want? Tremaine?
Yeah.
That's a good bet. I
Put
think
Brad on
I
dime.
have. I think I have to go on dime. Yeah,
Let's see what chat says. Oh, it's so
Boring.
close. 58%. That's crazy.
58% right now. Let's give him about 10 more seconds. I don't know if there's anything I can do.
I
to
don't think
sway
there's.
anything.
I
Yeah.
don't think there's
The
any.
this one simple coin changed Scrooge's life forever. All right, and it changed Lorcana's gameplay forever.
It really did. And it's crazy to me to think there was a time where there was like a week or two, maybe a month before people were like, oh, this dime is actually something. Because people ignored it. It was so cheap
Yeah.
at the beginning of set 3 or 4, whenever it came out. But yeah,
Mm.
let's end the poll here at 54%. Lucky Dime is going to move on to the Sweet 16.
Man,
All right, and this is where it
that's
gets
such a bummer.
crazy because I don't have pictures of any of these matchups because they didn't exist. So
Yeah.
we are
Yeah,
going
so-
to build them as we go.
Okay.
Well, we could also take a quick minute break if that
I
works
was
for
gonna say
you
that.
too.
We could do
Minute
that.
break. We're live,
Yeah.
baby. I'll just
Well,
sit
I
here
mean,
and talk
or
to
me and
myself.
Vince could go take a quick minute break.
Yeah.
I just
Y'all
want to go
can
get more
go in.
water.
All right,
I
yeah,
need
go
more
for it. I'll talk to the chat.
fluids.
How's everybody in the chat doing? Let me put a poll up and see here.
All right, I'm gonna work on some more of these, I guess. Then
Yeah, this is gonna be a fun poll here, guys. Who's gonna get back first, Kirsten or Vince? All right. Yeah. I want to hear in the chat what decks are you playing, John? Are you still on Sapphire Ruby? I know Jimmy switches it up week after week.
Yeah,
Quick
guys.
5-hour break for the editor.
Yeah, for the editor.
Paul. Paul, I'm happy to see you in here. It's good seeing you, man. Thank you for tuning in. Captain Inkswell, Steven, Arnaud, Jumel. Appreciate you jumping in. I know Emily's in here, my fiance, or she might be taking a break. Haven't seen her comment in a while. Don't want to take up her entire Friday night. Jake Evans is in here. Welcome, Jake, teammate there. Appreciate you guys being a part of this. It was last minute. Not really last minute, but we decided, with the April Fool's Day joke on Tuesday, why don't we just do the? Why don't we finally do this March Madness event that we've been talking about for several weeks, and it's the perfect weekend to do it with the Final Four happening. So every weekend something new. Jimmy says, John, of course he is. Of course I did. I just, I had to ask. Oh, that's great, Paul. I hope they like it. I thought it was fine. I can't believe the internet went. I mean, I can and I can't believe how ridiculous the internet got about Snow White. It's literally fine. It's not a masterpiece. It's not dog crap. It's just
Not
fine.
watchable. What? Oh, I'm sorry.
Stop it. You're joking.
Wow, I finished exactly one of these in the time it took for Kirsten to get back. This is
Hey, we could literally just talk about it, right? Do we have to have screen? We can just look at the bracket and move the text. I think if it's
Yeah.
easier.
That's probably the easiest here. What we can do though is
Wow.
I
John had Megan take his Ruby Sapphire deck to TCS tonight, and she beat Justin with it.
Let's
Wait.
go.
Oh,
Way to go, Megan. I love
Joel,
it.
welcome to the chat. I should be welcoming you guys from the start. I've seen you in here the entire time, but I've been talking to the crew here. So Joel, I appreciate you being here. Thank you. Julie,
Andy, are you
watch
ready, or you
the
still need some
White Claw.
time?
no, we're just gonna do it live. We're gonna go
Do
back
it
to the
live.
bracket
we're
talk
gonna do it
here.
live. We don't want to
Boom.
keep people waiting here. We're gonna end this poll. Kirsten wins, and she was the first one back. So whoever voted for Kirsten, congratulations. You got bragging rights on beating Vince back to the chair.
All right, and we're
Awesome.
just gonna throw the cards up
Alright.
here on screen for you guys to see. We'll talk about them and decide who wins.
We're still gonna do this quickly so that we have some. So
Throw
it
the
doesn't take
poll up.
forever.
Rabbit
I have
or
these-
crab?
Okay, I
Um,
have my bracket is all messed up. So we'll do this. Bracket
all messed up?
or rabbit or crab. Round 2.
Yeah,
right?
round
'Cause
two.
Crab beat Pete, so it's crab into Tamatoa.
Yep.
Merlin
I know.
beat
You gave
Tamatoa.
me the list earlier. I'll explain it later. We don't have to waste time on here. It's Tamatoa versus Rabbit. 1 seed versus 8 seed. You've heard all of our arguments in the first round. Rabbit is so powerful for all the
Best
reasons we
card in the
said, with
game.
all the draw that you get from it. But we also know how good Tamatoa can be with all the items that can come out.
It's just so
I think this one-
guaranteed with Merlin Rabbit.
Rabbit.
I think
play
this
it,
one's easy.
You get a
Rabbit.
card. You do whatever you want with it.
Easy.
It does not matter. And then you get another card when you're done.
This is the reason why Merlin Rabbit is seed number 1.
Yeah.
This is really Merlin Rabbit's bracket to lose.
And you can
Being shiny only gets you so far.
You can also think
I
of
agree.
Rabbit as pay 4, draw 2 cards, gain 1 lore, and deal 2 damage to an opposing character. Because he's guaranteed to do that for you.
I mean, he could be brawled.
Okay, fine.
They'll get a draw.
Yeah,
Yeah, but you get a
then
draw.
They paid 3 ink
I'm
instead,
just saying,
right?
like, the
We're
2
swaying
damage
them.
is not guaranteed. That's all I was
Yeah.
saying. The 2 damage part's not guaranteed.
Right.
It's
so
no
then they
longer
paid 3
75.
ink, right?
I mean, and
Yeah.
to be fair, Tamatoa with Goyle can also be brawled.
Yeah, he can.
I'm just saying.
Adorable.
Uh,
Anyway,
Oh no,
Alright.
no. Coil's -2.
yeah, it's a
So
double
he
coil.
could be Medusa.
coil
double
ends
coil,
in
yeah.
Double
ice
coil.
block.
Double coil
Coil ice
Sisu.
block.
Double coil Sisu. Little Sisu.
No,
right.
no joke. What was that? But go on. I'll tell the story later. What's
All
what's the results?
60% Rabbit advances.
Yeah.
67%. So while
60.
Andy gets the next one up, so Rabbit moves along. What I was gonna say is what is it? Dragon's Bow? What's the name of that card?
Fang
It's a
Crossbow.
Sapphire card.
Thanks, crossbow.
Fang
It
Crossbow.
got play
Which up-
recently.
Well, I played it in Seattle in my deck.
Of course you
Was
did.
72.
What card didn't you play in your deck in
70
Seattle?
cards. You played every card in
You had
Lorcana in your deck.
all of the cards in your deck. Oh my
Mhm.
goodness.
How many cards did you have on
I
Friday?
definitely opened myself up to that critique. I knew that was coming, and I was still not fully prepared. But I did human Sisu a Tamatoa against
Oh
one of
my
my
God.
opponents.
Wow.
Yeah, I double ice blocked and Fang Crossbow.
What a great
Yeah.
play by you.
Yeah.
I know.
All right.
All right.
What are we going
Next
on
up,
to?
we got Be Prepared up
Okay.
against Friends on the Other Side, right?
I believe
No.
Song
so.
versus
Yes.
song.
2 songs.
Start a
2 really good
poll. Be
songs.
prepared.
Yeah, and
friends on
Friends.
the other side. Who wins? Here we go. Start the poll, audience.
Oh, this is so rough. This
One is
so
a
rough
hard
because
one.
They're both so fundamentally needed
Four seed
and like
a 5.
important in their spot, and I think for me it's gonna come down to ink ability and playability. You have never been like, oh, I'm 1 ink away from a friend's. I can't possibly play it.
Sure.
And there's so many people to sing it. Whereas, how many times has Be Prepared let you down? It's not been in your hand. You don't have enough ink to play it. It's been in your hand, 3 of them in your hand on your opening hand, and you have nothing to ink. And you're like, this is terrible. Gets ripped out of your hand by that Ursula, pesky Ursula.
Or it gets stopped by the Pete right when you're about to play it.
I mean, they both get stopped by Pete, but yeah, nobody wastes a Pete on Friends. Nobody's like, I'm gonna Pete so you can't Friends.
And you're never really that bummed about like not being able to play Friends because of Pete. Like you're like, yeah, it sucks.
I'll do it next turn.
Yeah, I'll just exactly.
Friends is gonna lose here. Be prepared.
Yeah, I gotta
Julie's
be
got a
prepared
good
for
point.
me.
Be Prepared is so iconic, and it is
Best song in Disney.
Not the best song in Disney, but it's a good one.
Close.
All right.
All
Let's
right.
do it.
Close the poll.
85% Be Prepared. Landslide. See you later, Facilier.
Sheesh.
All right. Next up, we have Madam M. Fox versus Donald State, right?
Oh boy.
Yeah, looks like it.
Oh well,
I
Madam
guess
Mim Fox
Daisy.
destroys Daisy.
Yeah, I was
So,
gonna say.
somebody
Yeah,
said in the chat earlier.
Like 4 turns later. is
No,
the
so-
problem.
No, 2 turns later, but yeah, somebody said in the chat earlier when Daisy, right when we wrapped up the poll, they said, I hate questing Daisy and watching me give my opponent a fox because that fox is just going to come out and destroy my Daisy, right? So,
For sure.
sorry, I'm late on this poll, guys. But
I
yeah, Daisy versus Fox.
I definitely. go Fox.
Yeah, Fox is
Sorry,
so
Daisy.
powerful. So is Daisy. This is actually really tough.
This is
If you're putting
hard.
them I think if you're putting them head to head, I don't think that Daisy's as powerful as Fox though.
You're right.
That's
Head
the
to
thing,
head, Fox just eats the duck,
I
right?
think
Yeah.
that
and like not even just like, oh, she literally kills Daisy, but like she's just a more powerful
And
card
just-
than Daisy. in
yeah.
my
Yeah.
fundamentally, they do different things in that
Yes.
Daisy cheats you out lore early, and I think a lot of people in this game mistake lore for like board presence and board control, and the saying you got to win the board before you win the game, right? The big difference to me is that yes,
or you go
Daisy-
fast. Or you go fast.
and that's obviously an option, but like the problem is you like run out of cards or you have to really high roll or something. But for me, you Daisy, and yes, Daisy gets you 4 to 6 lore before, or 2 to 4 lore, I guess, before Fox comes in and takes out. But the Fox is around still. The Fox does it on the turn that they're out, so that means the other 2 characters that you've played on 1 and 2 have been doing other things. Who knows what what has gone on those turns. And so it just really, you end up with a lot more to say for it than you do with Daisy. So I think for me, it's easy answer. Fox here.
I wouldn't say it's an easy answer.
It's not easy.
Easy answer.
I tend
And
to agree that
that-
Fox is the better card, but I just think like, you're playing Fox 2 turns later, right? When they play that. And so by the time you play your first Fox, your opponent can have
6 lore.
3. can have like
times
3
that I've gotten
Daisies on the board.
Yeah.
Right.
Which
if they
ask
have
me how
3
I know
Daisies,
that that's
then they've-
happened.
Right. Then they've high rolled and like you kind of lost, but you don't. You also get a 1 and a 2 play, right? That could be other characters. Maybe you're playing better characters there or something, but you also will get to answer with that, and then you just like calculate it all up. And for Daisy, for Fox or whatever, you basically say like you could be drawing 2 cards. So if your opponent played, gain 4 lore, but you get to draw 2 cards, like a lot of people would make that trade, right? Like what if there was a card that you could play that just said like your opponent gains 4 lore, you draw 2 cards. It's like free, right? A lot of people will play that and be like, okay, sure,
Alright.
I've got 4 lore to give up a lot of times to draw cards.
Let's close the poll.
Yeah.
We got to close it. It is very close. It was even closer before I ended it. 56%. The Fox is moving on to the Elite 8. Sorry,
go.
Daisy.
Buster's
All right.
going crazy.
Next
Date builder.
round is Ursula, Deceiver of All, up against Smee, Bumbling Mate.
Okay.
You know what? I have these all somewhere.
Uh-oh.
All right, Kirsten, what's your take?
I just closed the chat.
I kind of think it's me.
Smee is life.
I think he's just yeah, he's just more of a staple. for
Sorry,
the
guys.
color, I think. I don't know.
There we go. Start poll.
Yeah. I mean, I actually honestly just tend to agree. And I also think like there are just really cool things that we've seen in the last 2 sets to help prolong Smee's presence on the board. You know,
Smee,
whether giving him the resist so that he
Resist,
does
of
the-
course, Vince with the resist.
Resist Vince. They don't call him
listen,
Resist Vince
Yeah,
for
they don't
nothing.
call, yeah, they don't.
But-
Revince.
But yeah, but to his point though, the new card, the new penny card, the dual ink penny card in
pretty good.
the colors amber and steel,
Yeah.
just heals. If you don't have the Rapunzel, it just heals up the Smee already and gives it resist, so he doesn't take a damage again for the next turn, right? So it
Pretty
just
nice.
prolongs
Yeah.
his life and allows you to get further into no, never mind, you can't get Cogsworth in that deck, but
yeah.
it's just insane how much
But-
synergy he has
Cogs,
with all
yeah.
these cards.
But even
is-
if you're playing things like, your aggro amber steel, you got the Pooh Pirate, he's a captain, right? The Poo Pirate
Yeah,
captain.
as captain.
So
Or
he
no,
doesn't
you mean
take-
Piglet. Piglet.
The Piglet. That's what I meant. But he's a captain, right?
Yeah, he is a captain.
Yeah.
I think Pooh is as well, but you're
yeah.
talking about Piglet for sure.
But
Yeah, I am
no,
talking about
the
Piglet.
Smee, and the biggest thing for me is that even if you just play Smee on 2, and you quest for 2, and you quest for 2, and you quest for 2, and he gets banished, you just salute him off and send him to the discard pile. That's
Yep.
6 lore for 2 ink. Come on, mate. That's so nice. And he trades back
Yeah.
so well. So like there's
He
just like
does.
no
Yeah, we're
nothing
gonna end
to
this.
lose with Smee.
It's a
Yep.
landslide victory for
Landslide.
Mr.
Smee.
Smee.
Smee could win this whole
Yeah.
thing,
5%,
honestly.
84%
Ursula's a
after
good
the
card,
closing.
but
Yeah.
she's also kind of not a part of the meta anymore.
I mean, to be fair, it was an upset that Ursula won out in the first round. She was
was.
seed
Yeah.
14.
Yeah.
That's true.
All right.
All right, over
So
the other
that's
side.
we're moving over to the Missouri bracket. We're up against Merlin Goat up against
The
Cinderella
Goat
Ballroom Sensation.
himself.
It's easy.
And I'm just saying, the Goat, he's the Goat, right?
Is it?
All
the
my
goat is the
arguments
goat.
still stand as from where it was before.
The
You're
I don't
never
know that
playing
it-
a
I don't know
Cindy
that it's
and being
that
like,
easy.
I'm gonna
I-
win if I top deck a Cindy.
Yeah.
Nope.
Goat.
Yeah,
Goat.
that's, if you
Nobody
put it that
cares
way,
about
then
you.
yeah, it's obviously Goat. I don't know. I'm
Okay.
not as high on Goat as I am with Rabbit. Like I will give you Rabbit as a 1 seed. I do like Goat. Instant lore is always good. There's so many options for that in Amethyst. But
It's well stacked
I-
too.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I'm very high on the power of Cindy on turn 1 of just like she starts the whole. I mean every deck has their card that starts
That's
their thing,
true.
but like getting her on turn 1, I mean it sets the tone of the game. Like okay, play something. I dare you. You know, I think in this particular matchup, I lean towards Cindy. I don't know that it's going to go that way in the voting, but I
Trying to
respect her
sway
power.
'em.
I think more than the Goat.
The,
Yeah.
You heard it here
Yeah,
first. The mayor
I just-
endorses Cinderella Ballroom Sensation over the Goat.
I know. I just think the Goat has a much more ability
Look
in
at
the
the polls.
game.
They're going
than
crazy.
You just
He's shifting the vote so much. It was like 80% Goat. Now it's like 54%. Gosh.
Gosh.
but I just think the Goat is the correct card here to win, right? It's
So if
one
you
of
don't
those
pick
cards.
Goat, Vince says you're wrong. You're just
We got Jake.
wrong.
We got Jake in the chat saying an early Cindy is much more powerful than a late game Goat. To be honest, he said was, so he might have been talking about in previous sets where John was talking about set 2 specifically.
Maybe.
But I do think
Incorrect. A
Goat-
late game Goat can close the game and win you the
A
game.
curve on
So
curve
could
Goat
Questing
is
for one,
super
you know,
awesome
like-
too. It's, super Goat is really good
don't know.
on curve as well.
It's
I
not
just
to us ultimately.
Yeah,
is
it's up
not
to the vote,
us,
to the
but-
audience, and the audience is on the goat side, 57%. We'll give
I-
them like another another little bit, but I don't disagree. Like
I'm
goat,
too.
I will not be upset with goat progressing, but
I
I
think
am
goat
on
is
the
just
side of
lucky.
of Cindy. Yeah.
Better lucky than good, Jake. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
We got
no.
15 votes.
don't
Goat
necessarily-
actually just went back up. They're moving away from the.
No, my only thought with Cindy is I don't know how many times I've played her or like had her as my only one drop and not had a song.
a song.
And it
Yeah, that
feels
happens.
Yep.
Yeah, and
so
you
Cindy
always
is
get the
really,
lore.
really
with
bad
goat.
without a
so
song.
so bad.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
or like
that's
you
fair.
basically have to be going first because if you're not going first, you run the risk of them having an answer that's just as good to just kill your Cindy immediately. So that's
Yeah.
why I lean to the goat. That's just me.
You got it. And so does the audience. The audience we closed the vote at 60% on the goat. I agree with you 100%, Kirsten. I didn't think about the potential Cindy just being, sitting out there doing nothing as opposed to goat always getting you lore in one way or another. So
Yep.
It's not
can't disagree with that.
Never afraid
common,
of
but
death
All
to die.
all right.
it happens.
Moving on to the next one, we've got
Oh, I didn't talk
our
about the
number
shift.
4
Additional
seed,
week. Talked about the shift,
the
Cindy.
Hiram Flaversham,
Shift Cindy is
up
good, but
against.
you cannot
our-
be judged based on their shifts.
All right.
That's
Well,
fair.
we got our number 4 Hiram Flaversham up against our number 5 Maui Hero to all.
Is it? I thought
What
was
time is
Sisu.
it? Wait, Sisu won.
It's
Yeah,
Sisu.
now
Oh,
we didn't
Sisu,
win.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Sisu
yeah.
won.
Oh,
Wow.
stop,
I
Maui
was just
time.
saying
You
that
got me
we all.
I thought it was Maui time again.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think it's got to
well,
be
honestly,
Hiram.
this one's easy. Hiram, yeah,
This
toy
one's Hiram
maker,
for me.
buddy.
Yeah,
I
Sisu barely
do.
got past Maui.
Yeah,
But,
honestly, this is why I thought Maui won.
That's true. You did.
And for me, you might say like, oh well, Hiram only works because things like Popsicle Fortisphere exist. I think that even if those cantrip items didn't exist, we would still see the Hiram engine working with cards
At the
like
ti-
that just are good items in
Yeah,
general.
at the
like,
time that Hiram came out, Sapphire needed draw, and they gave it Uber draw with the popsicle and the
Yeah.
Hiram. They didn't need to do the popsicle. They could have just done, like you said, any
Yeah.
item to
But
make
Sisu-
him work for those two cards.
Sisu's the same way. They need other They don't need other cards to work with them, but they work much better when they have these other cards to empower them. But
I'm just
think,
saying,
like,
since
so much more consistent.
Sisu was a number 12 pick, going up against a number 4 pick. There's a reason why,
Yep. Hiram's
and
number
it's
4,
because
yeah.
the Hiram's the card.
All right, let's
All
close
right.
the poll because
Yeah.
this is the biggest landslide
Oh my
so far.
goodness. Crushed them.
92% Hiram is taking down Sisu and going to the Elite Eight.
Wow.
Sheesh.
All
Hiram
right.
might take down the goat. That'll be crazy. That would be crazy.
I'm not voting for Hiram.
Next up-
Rapunzel.
Next up,
Smear.
we've got Rapunzel, gifted with healing, up
Ooh.
against Tamatoa, happy as a clam.
Oh
I'm
boy,
beautiful, baby. I gotta say it every time. It's my trait.
you do. It is your thing.
Baby.
It is cemented in rules of villainy history.
I don't know. I'm biased. I
Beatrice
still want to say
Blue.
Rapunzel, but I kind of
Such
acknowledge
good art.
the fact that Tamatoa is.
I love how you can
It's better.
see like the rot in his teeth. It's like so good, so nice.
Did you put Punzi?
Yeah, because I put rap last time, but there's too many text.
Oh.
Punzi.
There's too many letters. Like it wouldn't let me submit the poll.
I am now forever going to call this card Punzi.
Punzi.
You never heard Punzi
Hey,
before?
four, play Punzi.
No.
Say
Me?
you say rap or you
do
say
that.
Punzi?
Do
Not
you?
you? I don't
Punzi.
know.
I
Oh.
literally had said it earlier in this
Yeah.
video.
I say
Oh, I'm sorry.
Rapunzel gifted with healing.
With a pinky up. Yes.
Listen,
Pinky up.
Kirsten, I may be gay, but I am still a man. So you know,
You
yeah,
listen,
together.
Don't tell me to listen. You listen. Okay? Now you sound like a man telling me to listen. You listen.
No, this is
Shots
rules of
fired.
villainy after dark.
Anyway, I really do think Tamatoa is the better art here, even if we were to have the other Rapunzel up. I think
Are you
the
talking about
Tamatoa
art
is-
specifically?
The art, yeah, specifically.
Oh, that's
But
that's tough.
Rapunzel is
Because
just
Grace Trans full art is very, very good too. I'd put
Ooh,
them
it
side by
is.
side. if you want
No,
to put the
I
work
think
into doing that.
I think the
But we're not
Rapunzel
doing it by
is
art.
better
We
work.
love all the art in the game, honestly. We're doing the functionality of the cards, or at least I mean that's what I'm hoping the audience is doing. If you want to go by pretty,
Hey,
but-
some of the
Yeah,
audience
I
says they're
mean,
doing whatever they want. You know,
The audience
true.
can do whatever they want.
yeah.
This is
But
what
any
want.
you
This
guys
is
have
what
any
you
thoughts
wanted,
on this
right,
matchup
Brian?
specifically? We've talked a lot about
You
them
want
already.
the Grace Tran right
Yeah.
next to it, though.
Ooh,
They're
I
so
think
good.
this actually might be an upset. I think I gotta go Tamatoa.
Yeah,
I
there
mean,
it is. Look at that beautiful card.
I would vote Rapunzel. I do think that the card, for me, they both have this sort of like requirement of needing other things to work
Oh,
with
it's
them.
50 now.
But for me, damage on your opponent, or damage on one of your characters, is much easier to get than, like items. You know, you always will have characters that can. Rapunzel can work with herself, which is so great. Like, I mean, not one Rapunzel, but you can play Rapunzel and then play another Rapunzel. Like, any character can soak up damage.
No, but here's the thing. I will push back and say that I will bet people have played Rapunzel without just play a character on
still
board
good.
without being able to heal.
100%.
Still good.
Without, but Tamatoa is always coming on board and bringing back 2 items.
Only
Not
you
if
have
my
items in your
queen puts them at
discard.
the bottom of the deck, baby.
Only if you have
Yeah.
the items in your discard. And the other thing is that you have to have items, good items. There needs to be good items to play,
But
or
here's-
else Tamatoa is worthless. So,
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. You can just discard items into your discard.
You
People
can't.
do it with
Some of them.
How?
people do it with
It's
popsicle all
only
the
some
time.
of them. That's what I'm saying. Once they ban Popsicle, like, good items have to exist and they have to be in your deck. So, for me,
And I'm just saying that
characters
popsicle
will always exist, good or
here's
bad,
the
and they'll
thing.
be able to
You're-
take up damage.
You're gonna play. If you play Tamatoa Happy as a Clam on the board, you're gonna draw almost certainly 2
Yes.
Nope,
items
nope,
cards from your
Nope.
discard.
You're gonna return
Almost
Not
up
always.
to.
Not always.
You're gonna
Uh,
return
most of the
up
time.
to.
Almost
Here,
always.
here's what I'll say.
You
Almost
have to
Let
be
me,
in your
always.
discard.
let me say something real quick. Sorry, Kirsten's getting overwhelmed here. Tamatoa involves items being in your deck to play it. So there's already other slots, and I understand the synergy and all that stuff as well. Rapunzel doesn't require anything because everybody in the game
Has
is going to take
characters.
damage.
Yep.
You know, so
Everyone's
I
got
feel like
characters.
her draw power of
We
just
all take
healing
damage
any
then.
other card that you have in the deck is
You're
is
not always gonna be able to
Not
draw
always.
at all.
It's not always gonna be able to get
in your
items either.
discard. That's
You're-
the
but
point.
you are almost always
say-
going to have items to
No,
be able
you
to
say
pull
don't play
back.
items. If you don't play items, don't play Tamatoa. I agree with that, but ultimately you won't always have them in your discard. Imagine having only 2 of the
Oh,
non-draw
if
items.
You,
Imagine
here's the
you're
thing.
in Ruby Sapphire where they have items in their discard a lot less. You know,
or
But
the
here's
queen
my
that's
thing.
just putting them at the
Here's-
bottom of the deck, which
I
you've
will
seen me
just
do.
say, I will just say,
it calls me.
you won't play Tamatoa if you don't have there are
You
Then
better
won't
it's
play
dead in your
Rapunzel if you
hand.
don't have cards to heal.
That
You
is not
could.
true. That is not
You could.
true.
You
I
could
have
still play
seen-
Tamatoa without
I have
play
So
one
all
item.
you're saying is that you've seen someone make a poor play where they've played Rapunzel without using its effect, and therefore you've never
Oh, I
seen
just-
someone do that with Tamatoa, so therefore it can't happen. Like, both of them can be played to misuse. However,
but
I
I'm
will
just
give you
saying-
that
I'm just
Tamatoa
saying
has something
that
it
I
can
have
do the
seen-
next turn,
I
which
have
is
seen-
valuable.
I think
Potentially.
my thing is that I think on regular play, I think you're going to get more value out of Tamatoa than you are Rapunzel. Because here's the thing. But I mean, just here's the thing. It's like take for instance, you're playing Ruby Sapphire or Sapphire Steel. You have Fortisphere and Popsicle in your discard, or you don't. Let's say you've got 2 popsicles. You can just throw away your 2 popsicles, put them in the discard, play this Tamatoa, pull those 2 back, play those 2 popsicles, and you've drawn 2 cards. So not only have you gotten 2 items back, put 2 items back on the board, you've now drawn 2. You've basically,
Yes, I know. How it
almost done the
works, but,
Rapunzel.
like,
You've
can
almost done
also-
the Rapunzel.
The reason why we're spending so much time on this is because the chat is still at 50-50 on it. So like we're not wasting time arguing about this. This is crucial for the rest of the tournament. But
Yeah.
everybody in the chat is saying that Paul, draw is king, and then
Yes,
Arnaud has said
Rapunzel is
before that
such good draw.
if you don't have damage, you don't play Rapunzel. If you don't have an item, you don't play Tamatoa. So the same
Yes.
stipulation exists on both cards, and it's just how you strategically play it.
And
I
that's-
think they're
I
both
think-
powerful in
that's
their
why I
own
said
right.
I think Rapunzel is better because it is easier, and maybe not in play because you overload your you build the deck around and you overload the Tamatoa, but fundamentally having damage on characters is far more crucial to the game and will always exist versus items which come and go, If we do set rotation like you want so much, Vince, there might not be popsicles in the future. Now what is Tammy bringing back? He's going to bring back, what are they? Magic golden flower. Ooh, he's going to bring back your fang crossbow.
Magic golden flowers from set 1.
Listen,
Yeah,
it doesn't
whatever.
matter. It just needs to be an item. Just
Someone
needs to be an
vote.
item.
All right, we need to come to a decision though, because we have spent a lot of time on this, and we still have 4 more matchups to finish. 5, I think. The chat they went back up to Rapunzel to 53 to 47. Oh, now it's 53 again on Tamatoa. Yeah,
Close
so
call.
if
All right.
we if we're good, I mean, we have to close it with somebody
on.
ahead. Are we closing it?
Yeah.
Just
All
to
right,
end it,
this is crazy to me that Tamatoa is beating Rapunzel, but
that is insane.
Happy as a Clam is advancing a massive upset over a 2 seed
17
at
votes.
52%. Congratulations to the Crab.
Can't believe we let that happen. That's wild.
I'm beautiful,
I can't either.
baby.
I can't either. But
Take it
you know,
forever.
you guys made your arguments. I am not on the side of the winning, but that's
Hey,
what
we're here
this
for the
is. This is
people.
for everybody else. Yep.
All right, we got Medusa, who's the boss,
Versus Lucky Dime.
versus the luckiest of
Which one do
all
you want, Vince?
currencies.
Because I'm voting for the other one.
Crabs.
Medusa
We got
for me.
crabs.
You going for Dime?
It's Medusa.
This is actually tough.
I
No,
think
it's
I'm going
Dime.
for Medusa.
I don't know. Actually, I really
I
don't know
go-
either because for me, the biggest deciding factor
biased.
was does it die to Medusa? And to be
Yeah.
fair, Lucky Dime does not
Does
die
not.
to Medusa.
Die.
They got me there. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lucky Dime is super
Um,
unfair. Super, just like,
Oh,
it
I guess
breaks
I
the game.
sorry, guys. I need to put a poll up.
Put the poll up.
It helps.
Put
Let
the
them
poll
vote.
up.
I'm just sitting here looking at the bracket and not doing my
Just
job. 'Cause
saying,
I'm
no
still
one ever
reeling
says
about
dies to Dime.
Says it
That
dies.
is
Rapunzel
true.
not being there.
Sorry,
My
I didn't
Punzi,
close
my
the
Punzi.
poll.
The boss versus the Dime.
Sorry, guys.
I wish I could
How do
vote.
I unpin this message from Paul? Oh, there we go. I meant to unpin it sooner. Yeah, I don't know how to argue this one. I understand the power of Medusa. She is the boss for a reason, but these are 2 fundamentally different cards and different things that are played in the same deck most of the time. I don't know what I would vote for. I feel
Dime.
well, that's a big thing with Thunder. I feel like I want to lean toward Medusa, probably because we already have
Chili.
2 Sapphire things in the Elite 8, but Dime definitely deserves to be there too. So,
Better luck.
I kind of think Medusa too because I don't know. I think the control aspect over the win more aspect is a lot more valuable
Yeah.
because
Quick, end the
you
poll.
can still
Lucky Dime,
get-
69%.
nice.
you can still get lore with your characters and other methods. You don't always need the dime. A lot of people don't even play that many dimes, if any anymore. Like
Yeah.
it's 1, 2, like
Ron won without it on Sunday, right? And then Justin
Ron.
played the same deck on Tuesday, virtually the same deck with only 1 dime in it.
I
So
feel
it's
more greedy. The
Yeah.
dime and the big Tammy package are just more greedy these days, where you need to have the control options. And the control options are overall just going to be better because at the end of the day, those are your true win more cards.
If you vote
got our
goat,
nod
you
in the,
vote Dime.
in
I
the
kind
chat.
of agree. Goat and Dime, they both just kind of cheat the game. I would vote Dime. What do you guys all vote? What does it end at? 60% Dime?
Quick.
My vote.
Quick. Let me
End
open
it.
up my 9 different Google accounts and
Ugh.
stack the deck against this.
you're probably the one that did that on Rapunzel. Now I know your
Probably,
tricks.
probably. I believe it. I believe
We're
it.
Lucky Dime dropped 4%, but it's still ahead at 56%. We're going to end the poll there and move the dime forward.
I did vote on my own YouTube account.
Are we allowed to do that?
We're doing that?
Our votes?
I'm not even doing that.
All right, you guys have to run the next one. I have to step away.
Okay.
I'll tell you what. If that wasn't allowed, we could absolutely rerun the Rapunzel Tamatoa one.
This is the vote. Was it your vote that put it over the Tamatoa on Rapunzel?
No, I voted previously.
All right, we are moving on. I'm surprised Andy had. I mean, I understand. I would have done a different one while Andy. Yeah, while Andy stepped away. This is because this is a heated one right here. So hopefully he comes back before the poll ends. We have Merlin Rabbit versus Be Prepared, and that is insane because the fact that Be Prepared is so strong. We've already talked about it twice. To get this far, as is Rabbit. What I think is also just another benefit of the Rabbit is if it's hit with Be Prepared, you still get a card for it.
I don't care.
It doesn't care about Be Prepared, right? It's probably already quested, and so you got the lore from it. You're going to get a draw from it when you're expecting to Be Prepared. I remember one time one of my favorite moments playing Blurple into a red blue was I loaded my board with 3 rabbits, knowing that Be Prepared was coming next turn, and I drew 3 off of it, right? So he wiped my board, but okay, now you have nothing else to do this turn, and I have 3 additional cards to make up my play line for the next 2 turns. So
my view on this is that I think it has to be Rabbit, just because Rabbit is your answer to Be Prepared. Like when you know Be Prepared is going to come, you can play Rabbit to get that to get the extra draw, so that you can then have more card advantage to go into the next.
John made a really good argument here. He said, let me pin it. Lorcana is, there it goes. Sorry, that's a little slow here. Lorcana is just a wildly different game if Be Prepared isn't ever created. If Rabbit never existed, we wouldn't notice. That's not wrong, right?
Oh, yeah, that's a really good point.
That's a really good argument, John.
Yeah, that's true. Because there's other cards like that. How many other cards get you card draw? There's so many. The Maleficent, a Dolores. I mean, there's a million other options.
There's so many ways. Yeah.
And I kind of completely agree with that. When you're putting these two up against each other head to head, which is kind of ultimately where we're at this point because they are 2 such good cards. Be Prepared is kind of far beyond better.
What the
Rabbit.
heck did I
just
lead
because
you all to?
What other cards do what Be Prepared does?
Yeah, John I pinned a comment while you were gone, Andy. I think John made the decisive argument for Be Prepared that is undisputed here. Lorcana is just a wildly different game if Be Prepared isn't ever created. If Rabbit never existed, we wouldn't notice.
Yeah, but now that Rabbit does exist, you have to take notice to how much better of a card it is than every other card in the whole game.
There are other cards that get you cards. What other cards? Banish everybody.
Big Sisu.
Everybody. No, not Big Sisu.
That's conditional. That's conditional.
That is very conditional and only hits some people. When you're looking to wipe a board of a couple Tammys and some other big fat beefy boys, I wasn't gonna say that. I was gonna say something that needed to be Mickey, but I didn't. I had self-control. But anyway, you need to Be Prepared, okay? You need one of them, and there is nothing else like it.
And so is the audience. The audience is at 83%.
I think the threat of Be Prepared really, I think John's right. The threat of Be Prepared really does change how the game is played, because your opponent is always okay, well, if you're playing against a Ruby deck, you're where are you at? How much ink do you got?
Right.
You got 7? Or you're going to be on 7 next turn? And so then you think, okay, how am I going to do this? So, yeah, I agree.
I don't know if I read it. I missed it. Additional Ink said that he made the same argument, or they made the same argument during the Tamatoa Rapunzel thing. So, sorry I didn't bring attention to it or well enough when we were on that topic. But that one is past us. I think Be Prepared is ahead of us. 83%. I got to close the poll.
Let's close the poll.
Yeah, that's really far ahead.
Landslide. We got
Insane.
an upset. Number 4 seed beats our number
Yeah.
1 seed to move
I'm
on
genuinely
to the
surprised.
final 4. Next up, we have Madam M Fox versus Mr. Smee, Bumbling Mate.
Bam.
Fox?
This is a crazy one.
Sorry,
Smee is life.
Smee's no longer live. Fox
Smee is
live.
life,
Fox
yeah.
is live.
Smee is still life. I still think Smee is the
No,
best card.
no. Fox is still better than Smee. Like, sure, he can maybe guarantee you 6 lore, but that's about all he can guarantee you.
So I play Smee on 2, right?
Sure.
You play something on 2. Doesn't matter what it is, right? I quest for 2 with Smee on turn 3. And then what do? You play Fox on turn 3, and you do what? Hit my Smee? And guess what happens to your Fox? You get nothing. You lose. I get 2 lore.
Good day, sir.
Good day, sir.
I don't know.
I don't have. I think both of these are.
Yeah, quest a Smee, eat a Fox. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what they say in chat. So many foxes have died to Smees that already have gotten lore. Yep. That's what happens. Smee is just so good.
Don't get me wrong. I think Smee is a good card for advancing your lore state, but I think Fox is a more utility card that answers in way better situations. Because you can combo it with so many other things on your board, so
Yeah,
I
the
just
combo
think
is
it
nice.
has a better because you look at that, you have to bounce a character you've already put on board, but that can actually be like a huge advantage for you depending on what you're doing. So you can
Crab.
yeah, exactly, crab
make
into
that my
something.
Bounce.
Now-
You can now, just like in the last. Sorry, Kirsten.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, just like in the last example when we were talking about Smee, you can play that 2-cost penny now and give it Smee resist +1. The Fox doesn't take it out anymore. Or yes, it does. I'm stupid. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, the 4-3.
Forgive me.
I just think
Yeah.
that 4-3 coming in on 3 in that rush ability is
Yeah.
just such a great tool that you have to be able to answer your opponent's board. And it's like Andy said earlier in this, is a lot of times, when you're trying to control the board, control is a key way in winning Lorcana. And you're not going to control the board with Smee. But you can control the board with a card like Fox.
But
Yeah.
you do control the board with Smee. That's the point. You not only get to quest freely for 2 lore, but you also get to swing back for 3 when anyone even 3-cost characters like this Fox are the best 3-cost characters at answering anything that's already on the board. They are trading at best with this Smee.
But here's the thing. Let's say here's the thing though.
It works
I
with
concede
Rapunzel
the
too.
argument.
If you
I
guys
can
had just
concede.
voted her in.
I concede the argument that it trades, but the thing is I've already played something else on turn 2, and I'm turning it sideways to
something on
gain
turn
lore or do
3.
something else with it, and then I'm bouncing it back into my hand, playing this. Yeah, you get your 2 lore on whatever you've got there, but I'm taking it off the board, and Mr. Smee's no longer a problem for me.
But I
And now
won
I'm
in that trade
advancing the.
because you traded a 3-cost for my 2-cost. It cost you 3 ink to take care of my 2 ink worth of card. Is what I'm saying. So like that's why
Yeah,
Smee
but
is so
I'm
good.
of course, it's
Where
maybe
Fox
an
gets their
unfavorable
benefit
trade, but
is
my
when they're not
my whole
trading
point
with a
though.
Smee.
But my whole point here is that I just think it is what you're looking for is you want to have more control cards, and I think Fox is a better control utility in the game because that is when you're putting them up match to match on this. I agree that it's not necessarily the best, but there are plenty of times where Fox is taking a more favorable trade on the board, and I
Smee
just
could take that same trade though too. Really,
We're gonna end this poll.
not really.
Yeah, I think they could. The only one it can't do is trade like a Lawrence or something or a
Fox
Scrooge.
wins. Let's
Fox
go.
does
wins.
win.
Oh, Smee
Fox
is
does win,
life.
yeah.
You guys are just
I know, bud.
So yeah, it's all good.
I
All
could have
right.
gone either way. I was going to stay out of that one because I was indifferent to it. I understand both of them, the threat of both of them. Somebody said in the chat, I don't remember who exactly it was, said that the Fox, like you don't have to deal with the Fox anymore once she comes out. Like, they could have more than one, but once that Fox comes out, okay, I'll just drop another Smee. I don't know, but like, that's one Fox down, right?
Fox's
so,
benefit
anyway.
is that Fox can be used for other things, whereas Smee is a very straightforward card. You play the
Yep.
Smee, you quest the Smee, it is the life.
All right,
All right,
moving
let's
on
move on. We just
to
hit 2 hours.
the
Let's
next one.
try to get through this. Yeah.
Merlin Goat versus Hiram Flaversham Toymaker.
This is a good one.
It's got to be the GOAT. You guys
Goat.
are going to let me down again, and you're going to vote for the Hiram. But this whole time, Hiram's a good
it's
card,
weird.
but it requires these items. If there are no one-cost cantrip items, Hiram is bad. Hiram has to have good items.
Did you just say previously that Hiram was still good if you didn't have these one cantrip items?
He would still get played probably,
like
but
30
he'd be
minutes ago?
way
Did
less.
you just say?
Yeah, probably. Hiram turn 3.
The point was that there's, you'd be playing less effective items, but Sapphire would still be getting their draws, right? He is
Right.
amplified by not only the popsicles in his deck, but the Fortispheres in the steel deck too, and just everything. Those give draw as well. So just the draw power is just amplified by the draw that he's already getting just himself. When you could be hitting your Quills or your Great Stone Dragon or something that you're using the ramp, some other item that doesn't immediately replace itself, right? So Hiram does feel.
I'll be honest with
much
you,
better
this is a
because of
really tough one for me, I think. Real hard.
I think
Actually.
It's not
Not
tough for
that
the
hard.
audience because it's at 85% after 13 votes in favor of the 4 seed.
Hiram
Yeah.
requires, Hiram only exists
can't spend a
because
lot of
the
time
sphere
convincing him,
exists around it.
Yeah,
We got to end it. I think it's a landslide. I think.
yeah.
Yeah, it seems like
We
it.
we just hit 2 hours. I don't want to go too much longer. Enough to flesh out the tournament, but I don't think we can get them off this 86% train here.
Yeah, I think we've that ship has sailed.
Yep. Let's hit
it.
Hiram.
All right. Next
Has
up,
taken down a
we
goat.
have is it Happy as a Clam, Tamato Happy as a Clam versus Lucky Dime?
Yeah, that's a matchup. Great matchup, Vince. one that comes out in Quest to play the dime for free. Which do
Yeah.
you prefer better?
I think the dime is still fundamentally just broken of a card. Like the fact that the dime is allowed to just give lore for free is kind of insane.
Yeah, I think the Dime wins it here.
When it was
The dime it's different with the new Tamato. I'm sorry, I shouldn't cut you off. Go ahead.
it was late in Seattle, I think, that I realized that if Sapphire Steel can just get the aerial down and the dime down, and then just win the game in 3 turns.
Yeah.
And
So
there's
so
actually
just
nothing that Green Steel can do about it.
so just to add some controversy here, since Rapunzel was so close. This was Rapunzel versus Lucky Dime. Who do you vote for?
If this was Rapunzel versus Lucky Dime, I'd vote for Rapunzel. I still think Rapunzel is such a superior card. I think Rapunzel's draw is so powerful
change
and
it.
people don't realize it.
Yeah, we
But
can't
Lucky
change
Dime,
it.
Lucky Dime does fundamentally break the game, and I think Tamatoa Happy as a Clam is just a better, more useful show shiny.
All right. I think we're
Yeah.
good. Let's wrap it up here.
All right. Well, in the poll, it's 64%. The dime is moving forward. I do think it lost a little bit of its value because people aren't running as many of the bigger crabs at the time, where you get instant gratification of getting 5, 6, whatever amount of lore at a time off the dime, and now it's 2, 1 or 2, maybe 3 or
It's a
5 if
luxury.
it's the aerial, right? But it's consistent now instead of one big thing. So
The dime is a luxury. I'll give you that. Like, you do
Yeah.
need to be in a meta, in a situation where you can afford to put the dime in your deck and play it on the board, Gotta find
All
that
right.
dime term, as they call it.
we have
turn, as they call it.
solidified that the Missouri bracket, I believe that's the one with the with the Sapphire, is going to be a Sapphire winner. But before we get there, let's wrap up the Illinois bracket with Be Prepared and Mim Fox.
Mim Fox. Be prepared. You got to sing Be Prepared if it wins the whole thing.
Well, I
I might.
we have to go with be prepared now, right? Like everyone I've voted for is obviously going the opposite direction, but like be prepared if we're going by the true fundamentals, which apparently we're not. We're going based on magical Christmas land over here. Like banish all characters is fundamentally
bad.
Be prepared is fundamentally better than, Madam Mim Fox. You know,
I agree.
I
you
agree.
I don't know. You can ink the fox. You're never gonna get stuck with the fox in your hand like you would the be prepared.
Yeah, you can. You know how? Having no characters on
You
board
ink
and
it
having the
then,
fox
just
be the
ink
only
it.
card.
Just
Sure,
ink
you
it.
can ink it, but what happens when you top deck another fox and then
You ink
another
that
fox?
one,
'Cause remember how
and
that
then
happened
you
to me?
cry and you
That
lose.
sucked.
Yeah. Okay.
That sucked.
Be
That set
prepared.
champ
91%. Wow. GG easy.
Nobody loves the fox anymore when Scar is on the field, baby.
Apparently.
Wow.
Hiram and the lucky dime.
All right, we'll give it. Did you close
Crazy.
the poll?
did close the
92 to
poll.
7%. Wow.
A fox can only last so
Not a-
long
Not a hard.
till Scar comes
So
a singing.
we got our first. The winner of the Illinois bracket is Be Prepared, and we move on to the Missouri bracket here with Hiram Flaversham against Lucky Dime. No matter what, Sapphire going to the final. It's gonna be a
Boo.
Ruby Sapphire final here.
Of course
Also
it is. What
boo.
else would it be? Oh boy.
Um,
My least favorite.
Hiram
So-
for me here.
I think we need to
happened?
get off the Hiram train, guys. Like, it's not that.
Maybe they're voting
awesome.
for Hiram in spite of you
They
now.
gotta be at this point. Like, it's not that great. Like, I'll just brawl at the next turn. Ooh. I guess the only reason I would vote for Hiram here is because technically Hiram can get rid of the dime, okay? But only your
Why would
own
you want
dime, and
to?
why would you even want to do that? Like,
Because
But you
Tamatoa
could-
can bring it
better.
back.
because
And then
Andy, you
Tamatoa
throw away
can
the
play
dime, you draw
free.
2 cards. Those 2 cards could be anything. They could be, I don't know, 2 more dimes. Like, what?
Andy is losing his mind.
That's
over this
crazy. People
Hiram
are gonna
love.
vote
Yeah.
Hiram all the way to the end. This is crazy.
I
I'm
had a
gonna
little
laugh
smug
when you
juice.
have Hirams in your hand and you have nothing to play with them. You're gonna like play
But
down.
you always have items according to Vince. So
You
what do you
always have items. They're always there, even the terrible ones that don't draw a card when you play them. Hiram, imagine a world where you didn't cantrip an item. You have to play like the what is it, the last cannon? Play the last cannon. Does nothing. Waste of an ink and a turn. Then you play your Hiram. Throw it away. So now you've spent 2 cards to get 2 cards. You've just filtered for 5 ink essentially. Like, why wouldn't you have just played Friends? Oh wait, you can't. It lost to Be Prepared apparently.
Too much juice.
Tell us how you real feel. Let's go ahead and close this poll up.
I'm loving the Andy rants.
Are you?
What is the meme, Kirsten? I probably need a hug, but instead I'm just gonna go to Target and buy more packies.
Yeah.
With
Hiram wins.
78%, Hiram moves on to face Be Prepared
Hiram.
in the final match.
Sorry,
here.
Hiram. You're
We
gonna poop
are-
on, baby, prepared.
We are here.
All right. Here we are in the finals. We got our Illinois champion, Be Prepared, the number 4 seed, up against Hiram Flaversham, also number 4 seed for the Missouri bracket.
Wow.
4 seed
Wow.
against
We're
4 seed.
4 seed.
Welcome
That's
to the
Wow.
actually
Icon,
kind of
baby.
incredible.
That
All right.
was
The
pretty
poll
wild.
is up. I'm gonna try and not look at it for a while we talk about it. But
I don't think there's
Yeah.
any talking to do.
yeah, I mean we've talked about all these cards for
Be
5
prepared.
rounds here, so it's
Better.
you know
Yeah.
where my heart is, just being the Scar lover that I am. Not trying to influence anybody here, but
Be
I did
Prepared
not
is
expect.
fundamentally a better card.
Andy
Yeah.
is trying to subtly get folks by putting this huge
Look, listen.
I
I
didn't
just want to
expect
say,
that.
I just want to say that if
It's the juice.
if everyone spams Merlin Rabbit in chat, we can still bring this back. Just spam Merlin Rabbit in the chat. write in, refuse to vote, and just write in Merlin Rabbit. We got this.
Rabbit, rabbit.
I don't
We
know that
could
I can
still
allow it.
win. We could
I love the
still
ambition
win.
though. Hiram opens up more possibilities. Additional
ambition.
ink said, "Yeah,
No, no. Be prepared opens up more possibilities for a newer, better board that doesn't involve whatever
Well, that was a
bullshit you
whole
got
new
going on your
world.
side. Just be prep this and let's move on.
yeah." A lot of time, I mean, not so much with Ruby Sapphire anymore, but Ruby Amethyst. Like you be prepared. The first time you be prepared is just your whole turn, right? You
Yeah.
know, the example I gave earlier with the rabbits when we were debating moving rabbit forward, at least on our side of the things, was that if you be prepared a board full of rabbits, you're giving your opponent. I mean, you're always giving your opponent the the next play. You're hoping that you have a Tremaine or something to take care of that. But I lost my train of thought there. Like it was your whole play. You be
Yeah.
prepared is your whole play, and then you're giving your opponent, tempo by starting the game over, right? So it was risky, but not so much anymore when you can ramp with it. And
Be
it's
prepared. I tend to agree with Inkswell says he talks about John's statement Rabbit v B prep as in the Rabbit v B prep argument previously. Be prepared changed the course of the game. Hiram is
be prepared
nothing.
didn't change anything. It came out with the game.
It did. You're right. Okay, but still, it
It defined
defines
the
the
game,
game.
Brad. It
I knew it. I was
defined
being
Hiram
silly.
is nothing without Popsicle. Even if Popsicle didn't exist and Fortisphere did, that'd be fine because Hiram would be forced into a Sapphire Steel deck and it would still not even be that great. Hiram is nothing without Popsicle, and even with Popsicle, when you play decks like look at DKP's deck, he'll play like 3 Hirams instead of 4. Why? Because like he only plays like 4 Popsicles, and like really that's just because there's nothing better to do on one. And then you realize that Popsicle is a pity play, and Hiram is just a necessity. It's a means to an end when you're stuck with such measly cards like Popsicle and Hiram, and you're really in Sapphire for the ramp, not for the draw. And people think Hiram's such a great draw engine, but really it's such an acceptable draw engine is really all it is in the end. And Be Prepared is the great equalizer. It is the great equalizer in Lorcana. You can do everything you want, but Be Prep says no. We start over.
I agree. All right, I'm going to actually look up at the poll here. And
It's 50-50.
Oh my god, it is 50-50 and 14 votes. Oh
Well, good
man,
thing there's 3 more people supposedly in here, so they should vote.
Yeah. So I think fundamentally here that in this particular matchup, while Be Prepared is one of those cards that resets the game, but it's also like a kind of a negative tempo play because you're trying to erase your opponent's board and you erase your board at the same time. And so you are basically like, there are plenty of times where it's like you're looking for a Be Prepared because you need to reset the game. Whereas what's I think great about a card like Hiram Flaversham is that you get this ability to do significant amounts of card draw and gives you more optionality on the board. And so, you talk a little bit, and I'm like, I don't think it really matters so much about how many you play versus whatever and stuff, but there's like a period of time too where like a lot of people were going down to like 1, 2 Be Prepareds in the game because there are other options to be able to use in place of Be Prepared. Like we've seen Scar come back and take a place for Be Prepared as being able a little bit more effective board wipe.
You know
So
why though?
we got additional link in here making some good points too. Hiram draws, Pete stops B prep. You almost always know when B prep is coming. You can bait it out. Hiram is like a ninja. He can come in at anything. So even if you don't play him on 4, you play him on 5 with an item that, like, I don't know what, play line happened before that, but like in his example of sneaking in a Hiram and an item, to get that draw, you can't really stop that like you can Be Prepared. So that's a good argument for
Okay.
the
Can we
sake of
talk
Hiram.
about Arnold in the chat? it's the best draw engine in the game, the cheapest. Talking about Hiram, okay. First off, hard disagree. Hard disagree. Let's talk about how Hiram costs at least 4 for the Hiram plus 1 for the item. That's 5 to pay 2 cards, 5 ink, 2 cards, draw 2 cards. Friends, 3 ink, or 0 if you already have the character on play, draw 2. Or everybody's favorite, Merlin Rabbit, draws a card, and it gets one on its way
Guaranteed
out for
2
4.
cards.
Guaranteed 2 cards, 4 ink. You don't need none of this item nonsense. None of this item nonsense.
Somebody
So don't
hates
tell me
Hiram.
this is the best draw engine in the game. It's the best draw engine Sapphire has to offer, which really
No.
is just
Hey.
moderate.
Question.
Sure.
How many Hirams were in your deck last night?
Mine? 4.
Yeah.
4
Yeah.
for sure. Well, it's
That's
super
how I had
critical.
Let me make sure we got that out there.
That's how I got 18 cards in my hand.
It was super critical. Oh, that was so much fun. Double
That was
Diablo,
not-
and I just said, okay, well, I'll just play my game, and I
Yeah.
used Hiram,
But-
and I drew and drew and
Off
drew.
topic, getting off topic. Anyway,
Andy, I'll push back a little bit though, because you're
Tyler's got
actually paying 5 ink to draw 3 cards
With what? Hiram?
because you're playing Popsicle or
And drawing a
Fortisphere, drawing a card.
No.
so it's a 1 for 1.
No. You
And then
can't
you're playing
guarantee that's
four,
a Popsicle or
and
a
then-
Fortisphere. Come on. It could be any one-drop item.
Sure, but I'm just saying that if you wanna like
At
make the
best,
in that
At best. We're
and stuff,
talking
but I'm just
minimum
saying,
here. Minimum.
you're drawing.
We got Tyler in the chat
just saying
making a
drawing
good point
4.
that Hiram is repeatable too. If you don't deal with
Hiram
him,
is
he can keep
very
doing it.
repeatable.
Yep.
That is true. If
Yeah.
you have a Maui Half Shark in your deck and you play it the turn after you Be Prepared, and you also have a Vitalisphere in play, and
Oh
then
my
you use
God.
that on your Half Shark to challenge
Okay,
it, and you get your
Christmas
Half
streamer.
Shark.
No,
No,
this
That
is
is
the thing. This is the
repeatable.
thing. Andy's
Very
trying to build
repeatable.
a straw man here.
Very
That is
repeatable.
like he's criticizing me for like straw man earlier, and
cool
he's
looking,
building
Brad.
straw man.
Yeah, we got to close this poll, guys. I think
All
we've
right.
made our arguments. You know, I'm going to give everybody. Go ahead and close. I was going to give him a chance to change anything, but
Or we'll give
Look.
10 seconds. We'll count down 10 seconds
I-
on the board.
I can't disagree with Edition Link. They're making a lot of great points. Hiram is a great singer, not just for Zeus, but for How Far I'll Go, but for those two mostly. But you can also sing the 3-cost songs. Those are great as well. Brad's probably sang Friends with his Hiram and
Blurple.
Blurple.
I don't play Hiram and Blurple.
Oh, that's because there's not enough good 1-cost songs. Got him.
Songs.
Rabbit over Hiram. Thank you, Captain Inkswell. He is the true winner of tonight's stream.
Yeah,
No, don't try to
I think I'm the
Yes,
winner because I've had
over-
such a good time with you guys tonight,
over,
and everybody who's
Andy
been in the
here.
chat with us. Because right now I am ending the poll,
end it
and
now.
the number 1 card in Disney Lorcana as of 4/4/2025 at 9:27 p.m. Central Time is the best song in Disney. Be prepared.
Thought you were gonna sing it.
I know you did, and I thought about it, and I still didn't do it. I'm so sorry, guys. I can't do it. I'm on the spot.
You've got
got-
to do it. You
I
gotta
gotta do it.
You gotta
I
do
might,
it.
I might sneak it
You
in
two do
eventually.
it together. There we go.
I might. How do you guys think? Was it a good bracket?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I gotta
Yeah.
fill in the results here, and we'll see who won on this website we use here for people predictions. So you gotta help me
I
out.
wonder if
Predict-
anybody.
yeah.
I wonder if anybody actually did predict. Be prepared.
Yeah,
was
Uh,
we
gonna
put
win.
it out there. We put it out there kind of late, so I
Tamatoa
don't know.
won.
I had
Prepared
Medusa winning.
Friends winning. Who won? Daisy or Ariel? Daisy won. I gotta put in all the results here. So Smea's Life, Fox beats Smee, B Prep won, Rabbit won. And you guys are wrong because you picked B Prep over Rabbit, but that's fine. Then we got Goat, Cindy.
Just so you
Real
all know, all our
crime.
We had a lot of
putting
people
them
that-
against each
People
other.
did predictions. That's really cool. For the short timing that we had it out there, I'm
We
glad
had
to see
12 people
used it.
submitted. They're pretty. Is that what you said?
Wow.
Wait,
I'm asking you.
oh yeah, 12 people submitted their predictions.
That's amazing. We had
That's
that
a
out there
lot.
for an hour. So
Yeah.
thank you to everybody who did do that
Wasn't
for our
even
little
me. I didn't
pregame there.
do.
Yeah.
I didn't do it.
Oh, wow. This is so much fun.
Then hit save.
And
And now it
I
should
do have to-
calculate who the winner is. And we actually have a tie.
oh,
So does it not show me like what their name is? It only shows me their
while you're
email.
figuring that out, I want to thank everybody for doing it. This was something that, as we said at the top of the podcast, that we put together over a month ago. I didn't think we could do it. It fell off the wayside, and then finally we had a window. We're like, hey, I think we can actually get this in, and to all come together like we always do when we're in doubt of these ideas. It worked out, and I think this was a great time. I hope everybody enjoyed it as much as I did in broadcasting it, because this was
It was
a
okay.
lot.
It was all right.
Get out of here! Get out of here,
It was
Vince!
mid.
Oh, we
It'd be a
should
lot more
Yeah,
fun if
yeah.
Rapunzel was in there.
go back to the main
Punzy,
podcast
Punzy,
here.
you mean Punzy?
Punzy.
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 But yeah,
My
it's always
goodness.
great to
And
do
was
this.
Vince's idea, So
Yeah.
Well,
props to you, man.
So-
honestly, though, it's really props to you all to actually make it happen, because it was just gonna sit on an idea board.
So some of these people, we told them to use like fake emails, so that like
Yeah.
doesn't always help. So one person is in here as blurple@gmail.com.
Oh,
I'm
that
pretty
is
sure that's
absolutely
not-
Steven. That is
Pretty
Captain
sure that's
Inkswell.
not their actual
Yeah,
email,
that is
but
Steven.
let's see. Will they? I can't see the first name, so it asks for your first and last name, but it like literally doesn't tell me. Oh, wait, my export is available for download. Let's see if that export has
as a winner.
has the winner in it.
This is riveting content.
I know this is right. It's a CSV. I don't know how to
I know.
open the CSV. Okay.
You open up it in Excel.
No, I just meant like my computer doesn't have a thing for me to
Oh.
open up a CSV. It literally doesn't have their
it in
first and
Google
last
Drive.
name. Thanks for asking for their first and last name, but not even telling
then
me their
not
first
even-
or their last name. But I know one of them is Paul because they use their email address. So Paul is tied for first with dmine89 at Yahoo. I probably pronounced that wrong or whatever, but both of them had 450 points. Don't ask me
Wow.
what the points
Where the
mean.
points came from? Yeah.
Yeah, or how that works. But the next closest was John at 410 points, and Jimmy at 400 points, and Blurple at 370. And apparently I put mine in there when I was testing this out. I got 240 points, so I did really, really bad.
I didn't submit mine. I just took a screenshot of it.
Okay. Don't tell Emily, but I think she was last at 110
She's watching.
points in 12th
Yeah.
place. But yeah, so this was fun. Like I said, it was a last minute thing, so we appreciate all of you guys
It's
for
weird to say last minute, but it really was.
It
Like
really
over
was.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
Yes, welcome to Rules of Villainy,
Listen,
where the
Brad
points
was
are made up.
texting me about
and
an
don't
hour ago,
matter.
being like, "You gonna be there?"
You've been. I had to do the
That's
whole
what
show.
I said. I was like, "Are we sure he's alive?"
I mean,
And he was
listen,
like, "Well, he thumbed up a
I'm
message
just gonna be clear.
earlier."
This past week, it was a question on whether or not I was gonna survive.
I gotcha. We don't gotta get into it here, but
But
we should wrap this up. We've been over
Yes.
2 hours, and everybody who's still in here, who've been here the whole time, whether you came in, dropped in, whatever, thank you for being a part of it, because it was because of you guys that we were able to do this and not just bicker amongst ourselves who we think should advance forward. We got to allow you to vote. We hope you had a good time doing it, and I had a great time watching it transpire. Some of the ranting that Andy and Vince got into over Tamatoa and Hiram for the rest of the tournament, gold. Absolutely loved it. So,
listen,
thank you.
If Andy and I aren't arguing, is this really Rules of Villainy?
No,
Yeah,
So,
it's not.
exactly.
If Andy isn't arguing with somebody, is it even Andy? Is it even
we
Andy?
can never release the transcripts of our show prep channel. Never.
But yeah.
Thank you,
no,
Steven. Steven says fantastic job. Was a blast. It means a lot. Thank you so much for tuning
Yes.
in.
Thanks everyone for hanging out with us and joining in. We don't have a release date yet, but keep an eye out. We will we'll post it on all of our socials. We did a collaboration with Lorcana Karaoke.
Brando.
Holy
It's
smokes!
a
Yeah, that
really
was a
big
really loud
that
thunder.
scared the
We
out of
the
me.
house near us might have blown up. That was
Wow.
incredibly
Oh.
loud.
I certainly
Uh,
hope not.
But yeah, so yeah, we did Lorcana Karaoke. We did a collab with. It was super awesome. Tons of fun.
So much fun.
And that should be out I think soon. They've been working on it. And Brad has just been like, we've actually kept Brad locked in our basement and made him create content. So he's just been churning out the videos.
Yeah.
So he'll have one every hour on the hour for the next like
Oh.
week or no. I'm kidding.
God,
He
how
is
about
really
that?
he's really churning them out. So be sure to check in on those.
Yeah,
And
you have a
definitely
video
have-
coming out tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow, I got to finish it
Yeah.
tonight. I usually do it morning of, just as like a routine for Saturdays. But now that the weather, I should say the weather's getting nicer as we talk about your house next door blowing up with the storms. But metaphor, of course. But the we're gonna start taking our walks to Tower Grove Market as that starts again tomorrow and on a Saturday morning. So I've been before this podcast actually recording all the meta stuff. We for those of you unaware on this channel, I do a local meta report for all the places that do constructed Lorcana throughout the week. And on Saturday mornings, I release a video just talking about the top decks or some of the interesting decks that are popping up. I keep looking at the chat of our video like I'm face to face with them. I don't know why I keep looking over them. But if you're interested in the kind of decks that we're brewing here in St. Louis and the good players, check those videos out. It'll be out tomorrow, probably. I'm hoping around 9 o'clock ish. And every week throughout the whole set. And if I continue to like doing it, I'm going to keep doing it. So, and that revolves entirely around the community providing me their decks because we have such a great community here. And yeah, so please check that out. I would very much appreciate that.
Yeah.
awesome.
Well, with anything else? Anybody last thoughts here?
No, I
Just a
think
great
that was
time,
it.
guys.
Thanks again,
right.
everyone, for coming out.
Yeah. Well, until next week, stay safe, fellow villains. Be wary of those wannabe heroes. I hear they have a new podcast who want to disrupt your villainous plans, our plans here. And as always, remember the rules of villainy.
Thank you.
Outro music. I should have had that queued up. Oh well.
That was fun, guys.
Bye.